And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's episode of Late Night Q&A with ZodWriter. I'm really excited tonight because tonight I have an up-and-coming YouTuber who just launched his first video, uh, and his name is the Good Austin. What's up, man?
Just chilling, man. Just chilling. Late night vibes right now.
Yeah, just good vibes, huh?
And I'm loving all the feedback from the first video. And I can't thank everybody enough, honestly. It's just fun to get into the game and start creating with everybody.
Well, it's just great to be here with you, man. I know you had joined me on one of my open panels over 4th of July weekend, and that was a lot of fun. And I was so happy to have you on that panel, and it was just a blast, man. And I'm like, man, with the Good Austin, we could just have like a bunch of like hangout streams where we just hang out and talk about whatever, and they'll be fun. They'll be fun times. It'll be awesome. And you just put out your video today, and it was just nice to see you, doing your thing and putting it out. Like, have you decided what your channel is going to be? Because I kind of get the impression that you're just going to talk about whatever you feel like talking about and just see where everything goes.
Yeah, pretty much. I only had an idea for my first video. I'm like, well, I know not really many people know anything about me besides like my interactions in the chat, which isn't like face level. But after that, I haven't really thought it through. I'm like, and I've been thinking recently. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna say my opinion on things and try to like not shill for anything, but also shill for Snyder as much as I can, and not be a nuisance. That's really what I'm trying to do. Just try to add to everything rather than try and take away from anybody.
That's always the best way to be. I mean,
Yeah.
and to try to be as positive as possible. And that's what I try to do. I mean,
Right.
I mean, it's like we get on here and it's like people think that, well, I'm not going to lie. The majority of my live streams, it seems like people love it when I get ticked off. When I start when I start yelling and when I get angry and I get really passionate about stuff. That seems to be, though, I mean, those are my most watched videos. I mean,
Yeah.
it's what people are into. So when people say things like, I'm not into the drama. I'm not a fan of drama. I think they're just lying because
Yeah.
everybody is attracted to drama and everybody likes it. Otherwise, people that talked about drama or were going at people wouldn't have such high view counts.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just everyone gets a click from something they feel, especially if they're in their feelings about a specific topic or what's going on. They're like, "Oh, I got to hear what this person said." And they better not say the wrong thing, or I'm going to be in their chat like making a mess. Yeah, you're totally
Well,
right.
and
I'd
we're
love
seeing
seeing
that
you
from
get mad.
Twitter. We're seeing that. We
Yeah,
see that on Twitter all the time
yeah,
too, don't we?
we
Like,
really
like
do.
if anything, you're always in the trenches with people on Twitter. And I have to ask you about that. Is it because you, you know, like to fend off the trolls and the betas, as it were, and just basically, like we were talking about not too long ago, playing whack-a-mole with these trolls? Because honestly, that's what it looks like. It looks like to me that you're like an expert whack-a-mole person when it comes to fighting trolls, and I just think that's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely try to back up people. I don't even a lot of times I'm not somebody who starts the conversation, and if I do and someone comes in my mentions, then I'm like, okay, bye. But if they're in somebody else's mentions unprovoked and they just hop in a conversation, I'm like, what are you do? Why are you doing this? What are you doing it for? And I know it's always some ulterior motive, or if they really don't like Zack Snyder, that's fine. But I'm so sick of being bullied. I've been bullied my entire life, and I've like I've had perfect responses for people in my own life, and I get satisfaction out of shutting them down. Like, well, you think you got power over me because you said some comment, and it's like, all right, well, I got something back for you. I grew up with an older brother who used to twist my arm all the time, and like, if you can't like get out of that, you're just gonna keep getting your arm twisted. And even if you don't necessarily, if I don't put somebody down, or I don't want to say that, but when they're so aggressive, so disrespectful, and they come into a conversation unprovoked, I get so fired up about that. I'm like, why would you take time out of your day to come over to let I'm looking at a sunny hill and we're sitting on a bench having a conversation about things we enjoy. And even if we don't agree on certain things, we're very civil about the discourse. And then somebody just comes along in a tractor and just like dusts us. They're like, F whatever you're talking about, dude. Like, yo, whoa. We just had this nice, perfect view and you came and messed it up. And I don't get along with that, man. I grew up with people like that and came from a small town where it's like, if you want to be here around us, you can't act like that.
Yeah, yeah, that totally makes sense to me, and again, I love the positivity that you exude, Austin. You just, I mean, you do. It's just like everything that you're saying it in such a great and positive way, and you're talking about having overcome bullies and stuff, and that is an awesome thing. And it's beautiful to see. And I, for one, love it when you go at these people on Twitter and put them in their place because, yeah, they think just because they make their trollish comments or their disrespectful comments that that's going to make us all just roll over and die. And it's just nice to see. And me, I don't take it anymore. They say, well, you're the best part, the best way to handle these people is just not to engage with them. And I
Right.
and I don't believe in that anymore. Now, if you come at me, I'm gonna come back at you.
Right.
That's just the way it is. I don't have anything to lose by putting you in your place and telling you like it is. And if people decide to unfollow me because I go back at these people, then that's fine. You weren't following me because you liked me anyway, if that's the case. Because
Yeah.
I've been noticing over the last couple of days, I've been getting quite a few unfollowers, and I'm sitting here wondering what I did. But I guess it's because I had the nerve to voice the fact that I'm fed up with these TPZ guys,
Yeah.
throwing out their BS, and when we call them out, then they get mad and they act like a bunch of babies, but they're the grown men attacking other people and tagging people just because they're in a bunch of pictures with Zack Snyder and his family. It's like, oh, big deal. Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder's sister. Good on you. But why do you have to try to use that and try to weaponize that against other people in the fandom who allegedly want the same thing that you do,
Yeah.
which is for the Snyder Verse to continue and for everything to be, you know, the way it was before WB started messing it up.
Hmm.
And I got a $2 super chat here from the great Skywalker the Jedi. I got to say that I absolutely love Skywalker. He's another brother in the group. My brother from another mother, one half of Voltron, I might add.
Hell yeah.
He says for $2, he says the good Austin in the building. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I wouldn't have it any other way. These are the kinds of late night Q&As I like to do. Thank you, Skywalker, for that super chat. Very kind of you. And it's nice to see you here as well, shouting out the great Sharon Peters. And speaking of the great Sharon Peters says, Zod, talk about my open panel. Well, I can talk about it, but I would be speculating because I really haven't seen it yet. Allegedly, Sharon and I are making plans to eventually connect in a very positive way on a live stream. So everybody will eventually get to see Sharon Peters and I have a discussion, and hopefully it'll be a fun panel. I
I
don't know
want
if it'll
to see that.
necessarily be open. I mean, Sharon, if you want it to be an open panel, we can make sure that it is. I mean, that's not a problem. I'm sure there's a lot of people that would like to be on a live open panel with you. Absolutely.
Oh
Myself being one of them. Sharon Peters says, face level, we want waist level, girlfriend.
yeah.
Well, yeah, Sharon is always definitely bringing the
Ooh, we love it. We
bringing the
love
innuendo. It is
it.
awesome. Rhea says, "What's up to
Oh
everybody?
man.
Fat Dan Skywalker, everybody. Great to see you as always, Rhea. Thank you so much for being here for this great late night Q&A with the good Austin. You know, I have to say, you really, you came in and it seemed like, we all seem to have gotten to know you through the Sil Abdul chat, because we're all high-ranking members in Sil Abdul Inc., which has become, if you ask certain people, it's kind of a pro Snyder a pro Snyder subsection mafia of some sort, right? We're all a bunch
The
of
cult, dude.
we're a bunch of cultists and low-level capos for Sil Abdul Inc. That's allegedly what we are, according to some people. And how would you respond to something like that, Austin? What do you think about
Uh,
all that?
that's real jealousy. That's what it is. They try to claim that we have jealousy, and it's like, no, that's real jealousy. The reason why we are so adamant about shilling for Sil, or having his back, having Mikey's back, is because they've never steered us wrong. They've never given us BS. They've never towed the company line. They've been troublemakers this whole time. And as soon as the Snyder Cut came out, and Snarnoff put that freaking hit piece out, we have like 3 days to celebrate it. We're like, yes, everyone could see that this is the greatest thing in the world. And then she puts out the hit piece. She's like, well, you better enjoy it, because that's it. And I know, and Sil and Mikey streamed. I don't know if maybe Mikey was on there, but Sil definitely streamed. And we are all able to just, as a community, come together and just air our grievances and be like, what the? And just have a discourse on it and talk. And that's what this whole fight for restoring the Snyderverse, our community like started around the same time, because there was people who wanted to move on and were telling us to move on, and we were like, what do you mean move on? Are you what did you liked it, right? You say that you liked the Snyder Cut. What do you mean move on? And Sil and Mikey were right there, like, yeah, this doesn't make any sense, but this is what we're hearing, and we agree with you, or we don't agree with you, or this is how we feel. And they never said anything like, yeah, but the James Gunn's Suicide Squad is going to be pretty good, huh? Like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That movie comes out and nobody has talked about it since. And that says a lot, because I consider all these people who claim to be DC fans, I consider them to all be bandwagoners for whatever movie is coming up next.
Yeah.
They all get on this imaginary hype train that doesn't exist, because I'm tired. I'm not going to mince words anymore. I mean, the Snyderverse hype is real, legitimate hype. You cannot buy this type of hype. And lots of companies have tried to manufacture it, are trying to get the same type of, but nobody brings the fire like we do, Austin. And that's the reality of the situation. So when you have all of these movies that come out where people are just excited about whatever comes out and are defending these movies to the death, and then the movies come out and they're crap and they completely fail to resonate with the audience, and we're still on the Snyder train, that's what I think it's all about. They're mad at us because we don't subscribe to the same bandwagoner mentality that they all do. They want to support every movie that comes out, every filmmaker, regardless of how crappy it turns out. Like, I'm surprised right now of all of the love that people are giving this current Marvel movie that's out now, this Thor Love and Thunder Farts or whatever it's called. People are excited for it and are talking about how great it is. But, you know, there's a lot of people that are being honest and
Yeah.
are talking about how complete, utter trash that it is.
Mhm.
And it's actually getting to the point where the director, uh, Watiti,
Yeah.
Watiti,
What TV?
yeah, this guy who would be a Jawa if he was living in the Star Wars universe. The guy is in jeopardy of not getting his Star Wars movie because of how he literally turned the Thor character into a joke.
Yeah, dude. I have a funny story that goes along with Thor 4. But first let me say I'm not seeing anybody who's praising this film. I Everyone that I see, I mean, obviously I have curated my own algorithm to get like, the shills out of it. And so I only really have people who are honest and people who are genuine and are actual human beings. Um, so I don't see any love for the Thor 4, but let me just say this, when the first trailer came out, um, I probably had the same feeling that a lot of people had, and exactly what you just said. He turned this character into a joke. I blamed it more on Marvel, and I should have blamed it more on the Waititi, Watiki, whatever his name, dude. I was gonna call him TW for the rest of the night, and I don't mean Tiger Woods. He has disgraced that character so bad, it's not even funny. And people who actually have ties to like Norse mythology in their bloodline or their heritage, like it's a slap in the face. I'll destroy your mythos in a minute, baby, but no, dude, like what do you mean? Don't do that. Like don't do that. You know how disrespectful it is to so many people, and so many people who have honor and like care about the, for whatever reason, because their family like grew up or has bloodline ties to Norse mythology. Like I feel bad for them, honestly, because they got to see Thor in this type of shape. But that trailer came out, and I had somebody in a a personal friend Discord like praise it, and I was like, "What the?" I was like, "Okay, well, and like I know what type of person you are. If you think that by this trailer this looks good," and he's like, "Oh yeah, bringing it back to the '80s movies with the workout video," and I'm like, "Okay, cool, but that's not Thor though. Like this bringing it back to whatever. You can't have nostalgia for Thor, okay? You can't put in '80s nostalgia for Thor because it doesn't exist currently. Like a Thor movie didn't exist in the '80s to have nostalgia for. So him putting the Van Damme reference in and all that, it's just, what are you doing? What are you doing? So this friend said that, and I responded with my own opinion back, and maybe it was a little bit adamant. Maybe I was feeling some of the fire of just the emotions of seeing this, and I maybe I responded too harshly, but it wasn't like disrespectful or anything. I was like, they turned this into a joke. The same thing I just said and you said, and my friends responded with like memes, like almost like making fun of my response. And I was like, "Oh, sorry." And I was like, the backwards shots here are so weird. Why are you guys doing that?" And they're like, "You did." Oh, I said the negative comments are so weird. And they're like, "Yeah, but yours was so negative and so mean." I'm like, "It was just my opinion though. I was just getting and I What do you mean?" And I left that Discord because of that moment.
That's where we are. That's what the state of today is
Yeah.
societally,
Yeah.
Austin. This is a problem. You're not allowed to have an opinion that differs from people who are your so-called friends, because
Right.
the moment you show independent thought and a different take on something, you get ostracized from your friends. Your friends start making fun of you,
Right.
and then because it's the internet, eventually they become your enemies and start going after you. I've seen
Yeah.
it's happened so many times, and and I echo Matthew McConaughey's sentiment on all this right now. All right, all right, all right. I feel the same way because that's where we are. It's essentially a
Yeah.
situation where, regardless of what you expect and what what you feel. I mean, for me, when I think about the Thor character, you know, I'm thinking like you in terms of the Norse mythology and the almost Shakespearean majesty of the
Oh.
character that was created back in the day. And here's the thing about that: the first two movies, well, the first movie in particular, who was directed by Hamlet himself, Mr. Kenneth Branagh, the
Hmm.
very first film was very much built into that mythology and took the character seriously and gave
Absolutely.
the character almost a Shakespearean depth that he deserved. Every movie after the first movie kind of took the character in a different direction, as if he needed to be brought into a different direction. I mean, I think what they were doing with the first movie was I thought fantastic. I would have loved to have seen more movies that continued to take the character seriously and continued to um, bring that respect and reverence to that character. But then you get to the Dark World, and I'm one of those in the minority who actually thought Dark World was a pretty good movie. Now, granted, Dark World was a little bit more serious than anything else that came before or after when it comes to that character in terms of those movies. But when you look at the extreme that Taika Waititi, TW, took, took the Thor character with his next two films, you know, I'll take those first two films any day of the week and would love to see a serious director come in and expound upon it. And as a matter of fact, I would actually like to see Kenneth Branagh come back and direct the next one and take Thor back to his roots of majesty, mythology, and Shakespearean gravitas, because that's not something that we have anymore. And I really miss that about the character. You can get that if you go back and you read old school Thor comics or you watch those movies, but
Right.
technically, yeah, we're getting so. I only mention this and compare this because this is what the audiences are like with DC. They're on the hype train for every movie that comes out, no matter what it is, no matter how crappy it is. And I gotta be honest, there's no movie after Zack Snyder's Justice League that DC has put out that's generated real hype or that's been a good movie. All that,
Absolutely.
all the movies that came out after were just generated, manufactured hype from fake fans, from people from bandwagon fans, like I mentioned earlier. I mean, I don't really even think, and this is going to be controversial, but I don't really think the hype was real for Matt Reeves' Batman movie. That movie didn't have any real hype. WB threw everything but the kitchen sink at that movie for advertising. That they had the full WB machine from the clown table thrown into that movie, and the hype that was generated, at least from people who were online, were just a bunch of bandwagon hype people that the same people that were hyping up the Batman were the same people who were hyping up Wonder Woman 84. What do you think? Do you think I'm off on this, or do you think where do you stand on this?
No, you're absolutely right. It's not real hype. It's those shills, those people. I said it earlier in Sill's chat. They're access addicts. and once they get it, they need more. We have Zach crack, and some people are addicted to Zach crack really bad. Um, but they are addicted to their access in the same way. Just in one young way. Not that good. No way. No way I look that good. But I feel the same exact way, dude. It's all manufactured, and not I mean, okay, maybe some of it isn't manufactured, right? But they the people who control the word of mouth in a lot of areas as far as like trades and putting out reviews and everything, they they I'm not a HIV positive one though, you know what I'm saying? I'm not that positive. Uh Sharon. Um but the the hype machine was started by the shills, and then the word of mouth continues to some kind of trade, and then people pick it up and they see a headline like, oh, the Batman movie, blah blah blah, and like, oh, I should go see that, and they go into the theater with a favorable mindset. And isn't that completely hilarious as to how a lot of people went into the theater when they went and saw BVS because of all the crappy critic reviews before then. They went in not with a positive mindset, not with a like, oh, this is going to be good. Like they're like, oh, well, let me see why this is bad or why people don't like this. And then you watch it the whole time and you're just waiting for like, okay, when does it get bad? Because this is freaking amazing. Does it get bad at all? And I walked out of the theater with a girl I was talking to at the time. I don't know where she is now. Hopefully she's still kicking with the Snyder Verse. But she looked at me and she was like, "That was a superhero movie? Like what? I didn't think they were like this." And I looked at her and go, "They're not. They're not like this. Like this is a one of a kind." And it just took Man of Steel and put it on steroids. When it starts and you just see Batfleck just in a Jeep just whipping through the city, you're like, "Oh, okay, Snyder's not freaking playing. Like he didn't come to just make a sequel to Man of Steel. Like he came to set this thing up and to make it super epic." That's what I felt is real. And I don't think that, and I can't speak for everybody else, but there's no way that everyone walked out of the Batman after a grueling 3 hours of a lot of footsteps in their face. I can't imagine that they were like, holy crap, like that was insane. What do you have to talk about in that movie compared to Zack Snyder's movies? Like
That's what
it's
I want to know.
fails.
I get so confused because I see all that, and I had the exact same reaction you did to BVS. I saw BVS a bunch of times in theaters, and I have to say, you are transported into the world that Zack Snyder is painting, which unfortunately is our world.
Yeah.
Zach put these characters in the real world. And I think that's the problem that a lot of these people have. Because, for example, when you watch Thor Love and Thunder, you know you're watching Thor Love and Thunder. You're watching
Yeah.
popcorn,
Mhm.
you know, fart jokes and a bunch of people running around the screen and lights flashing and goofy stuff going on. And all it is a movie. You know you're watching a crappy substandard film. You know you're not really watching cinema. But when you watch Batman v Superman, you are transported into an alternate version of our reality in which these heroes who are larger than life, who are gods gods among humankind, uh and you're seeing these things, and it's definitely cinema. It definitely sets
Yeah.
the bar and shows you, to your point, that Zach is not playing around. He's not giving us movies to waste our time. He's giving us
Yeah.
movies for us to think. He's giving us movies for the movies to resonate with us. He's giving us art. He's giving us cinema. He's giving us quality, which we are not getting from anywhere else, which is why every single movie that comes out, you have all of these mediocre people who are mediocre in life and are mediocre at everything that they do, jumping on the bandwagon for these films and
Mhm.
acting as though they are great. But then once they're out and when all the hype dies down, the next movie comes out and they're on the bandwagon for that, and they've already forgotten about the last movie that they were praising and jumping in everybody's mentions. All the people that didn't like it, they're jumping in everybody's mentions, attacking them. Like I keep being reminded about all the stuff I went through on Twitter when I said that Morbius was a better movie than the Batman. I got
You're
so much hate for that. I got so many people coming at me. I got death threats in my DMs. I got all kinds of crazy, crazy messages from people, from hysterical people who lost their minds because I dared to say that a movie that is not something that they think should even be comparable to the Batman is a better movie than the Batman. And I guess I insulted them even more because it was Morbius. It wasn't even
a
another
DC.
DC movie.
Yeah.
But my point was simply that Morbius had a better story. You
Mhm.
could follow along with it. You can enjoy it more. I wasn't sitting there trying to compare the movies on a technical level, because obviously if you compare it on a technical level, the cinematography in the Batman is a lot better than the cinematography in Morbius. But Morbius, to me, had a better story. It had an easier to follow story. I wasn't bored once. I didn't fall asleep one time. I didn't
Mm.
have the urge to get up and get popcorn. I wasn't thinking about, using the bathroom. I was focused on the film, which with the Batman, I'm checking my watch every couple of minutes because I'm so bored. Hashtag Trey checked his
You
watch.
checked his watch, bro.
Listen. I'm not gonna, and like I said, I'm tired of mincing words with these people because
Yeah.
it's not about, well, Batman did better than Morbius at the box office. Well, that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about watchability.
Yeah.
Morbius, I could watch again. The Batman, I have no desire to ever see again. So my question, and then this was something, Austin, that really gets to me every time I ask somebody who claimed to really love the Batman, and I had somebody tell me, "Oh yeah, it's a masterpiece. Robert Pattinson is my Batman." Okay, cool. So when's the next time you're gonna watch the Batman? I don't know. It's gonna be a while. I'm gonna watch it again though. I just don't know when.
I
Well,
swear.
why don't you ask me when I'm gonna watch BVS? I wasn't gonna watch BVS right now, but since we mentioned it, I'm gonna watch BVS after the show
Oh,
and see
dude.
if it's a movie that you love. You should be able to do that. You should be able to turn it on at any time and be entertained. And
Absolutely.
you should be able to garner something new from it every single time, because if it's your favorite movie, there has to be a reason. If it's a favorite of yours that you can, then it has replay value, is my point.
Yeah, it
So
has to be a good movie though in order to have that, and
right,
The
right, right.
Batman is a good movie, so and also, yeah, if you like it, cool, that's your opinion. We're giving our opinion, so you can if you're offended by our opinion, that's on you.
But there's holes in their opinion though,
Yeah,
Austin. This is
yeah,
my
you're right.
problem.
But
It's
they
like
come to
it's
us
like
with their opinion like it's fact too. You're like, "What are you talking about?"
It's like Sammy Snyder Queen says right here. We don't consume and move on like they do. This is exactly the point. Like they'll tell you that the Batman is a masterpiece. Okay, but as soon as the next movie is announced or due to come out, they get on the hype train for the next movie. And it just goes on. It's a circle. It just keeps going and repeating itself.
Yeah.
Wash, rinse, repeat is what you get with these people.
Mhm.
They may tell you how brilliant and amazing Matt Reeves the Batman is, but they're not watching Matt Reeves the Batman. They're
No.
not buying merchandise for Matt Reeves the Batman. And if
Right.
they are, and if they did buy the 4K, it's just sitting on the shelf. They're not watching it.
Right. Did
You
they
know,
have a watch event or anything for when it came on the
no.
HBO Max?
What are we gonna do when the digital copy in a couple of days comes out for Zack Snyder's Justice League? What's gonna happen? This fandom is gonna rally behind that
Yeah,
release
dude.
and have watch parties and be discussing Zack Snyder's Justice League all over again. And we haven't stopped talking about
No.
Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's the point. How many other DC movies have come out? How many other Marvel movies have come out since Zack Snyder's Justice League? And we're still talking about it. So if the movie is important to you, you're going to keep talking about it. You're going to keep hyping it. If the Batman is as good as some of these people say, they should be talking about it every day. They
Right.
should be hashtagging through the moon because they want that Matt Reeves Batman sequel. But I haven't seen one person on Twitter talk about the sequel.
They announced it though. They announced it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
is there
mean,
any production going through with that?
there's no hype. There's no
Yeah.
hype whatsoever. Nobody cares.
Um,
Sox
yeah.
says here, even the Russo brothers just came out on video and said, watch the Snyder cut of Justice League. I love it. Yeah, the Russo brothers are big fans of
Yeah.
Zack Snyder.
Seeing that was awesome. Well,
And
they have to be. They have to
yeah,
be.
yeah. Because why? Because Zack is the blueprint.
Right.
How many times do we have to say that? Zack is the blueprint. Y'all just don't. I mean, this is the thing I don't get. We're looking at, you look at this movie, this Batman movie that was made solely so that we could forget about the Snyder Verse. We were supposed to be so hyped up for what Matt Reeves had in store for us and what this skinny sparkles vampire makeup looking Batman was supposed to do for us. We were supposed to be excited for this guy, for this diva of an actor who really doesn't care about the role. You could tell he doesn't care. He wasn't. It was a paycheck film for him.
Yeah.
And I for one thought he was horribly miscast. It was the studio that wanted him. I remember back when this was first announced, Matt Reeves said that he wanted Nicholas Hoult for Batman. That was his first choice, and the studio forced him to go with Robert Pattinson.
Well, we got a vampire, dude. That's what they said. We got a guy who turns into a bat.
Yeah, yeah. It's so stupid to me. I just was like, listen, I don't have any, I had no interest in it when it was announced. I had no interest in it when the first trailer came out. Everybody thought I was crazy when that first trailer came out, and I was critical of it. Everybody was on the bandwagon. I was on panels watching the trailers with people, and people were like, "Oh, this is going to be the greatest thing ever." Oh, these were all Snyder cultists, right? And they're all like getting excited, practically orgasming over this Batman trailer with Robert Pattinson because I'm vengeance, punching some punk into the ground. Listen, that didn't impress me, and I didn't care because I want more from Batman, and I expect more from the character. And to me, Ben Affleck will always embody that character. He looks just like he came out of the pages of the comic book. That's what I want from the character.
Yeah. And how can you even like not bulk up? I'm still so mad about that. It's so disrespectful, and it's not that hard to do. Like,
yeah, it
is for a short period of time. You could hate it so much. You could hate working out so much, but dude, you're an actor. It's kind of your job.
Give the guy some chocolates. Give the guy some chocolates. him and Matt
He's upset.
Reeves made a masterpiece. Give him some chocolates before he starts crying. Yeah, I said it. He's terrible.
Terrible.
He's a horrible actor. At
Yeah,
least in that movie, he's a horrible actor.
for
There
sure.
was no difference between Batman and Bruce Wayne. I'm so sick of people saying, well, he has to find the persona. He has to find the difference. He's new. Oh, give him time. He'll do it. No. They made all these excuses, and I'm so sick of it. I'm like, no, there's no excuse. The fundamental truth of Batman is that he has two identities. Bruce Wayne is the mask. Batman is the person. That is the character. That is the fundamental, unchangeable truth of the character. Yeah, I'm gatekeeping about the character. I don't care what you say. I
Yeah.
am gatekeeping right now because that is the fundamental truth of the character that has existed throughout the 80-year history of this character.
Yeah. That's why
When
they don't.
people say, but it's okay. It's a different take. It's Kurt Cobain wearing a cowl. If you want a Kurt Cobain movie, he should have made his movie. And I said this back when that first trailer came out. I think you could see it on a stream. I actually said, why didn't Matt Reeves just make a movie called The Vigilante? Have it star Robert Pattinson, have everything be very similar to what it is, and it could have been a hit as
Yeah.
like a horror movie or like a Batman like spoof for edgelords or something. I don't know. But to me, I just didn't get it. I was like, why did it have to be Batman? I mean, it wasn't because it wasn't Batman. It fundamentally was not that character. So to me, I didn't like anything about it. And I tried to find things, Austin. I was like, well, Catwoman was cool in it. I liked Jim Gordon a little bit. Riddler was a YouTuber, but I was like trying to find things that I could justify and say were good, just so that when I talked about it, I didn't come off as completely negative. But I'm going to be completely honest. I hate this movie.
Yeah.
And I have no desire to ever go back to it again. And I honestly hear people, even people who didn't like it, say, well, there's potential for a sequel. I have no desire to watch a sequel. I don't want to see any more from this world. I don't want to see any more from Matt Reeves. This is a point in time where I just want them to take their toys and go home and get the hell out of here, because they failed the first time. So there's no need for them to make anything else. I don't know. I know my views are kind of extreme on this movie, but as time goes on, my feelings just get more and more negative towards it, because I've come to realize that this movie is one of the main reasons why we're in the situation we're in right now, if you really think about it.
It really is. Dude, it's a last-ditch effort at trying to make the most money possible for those executives, because they saw the writing on the wall. They knew they were tanking. They knew they were going to be gone, dude. So they're like, how do we make the most money before we're out of here? And they lined that shit up perfectly for like a couple months before they were really gone. And their names on that movie so they can make the most amount of money possible from their most popular character. And they should have made more money, but that movie was trash. It was trash. And I can't believe that they gave him 3 hours and anybody had anything to say about Zack Snyder's movies are too long. Are you freaking kidding me?
They're all talking about how this movie was a masterpiece at 3 hours. This movie was a slog. This movie is the cure for insomnia. I mean, come on. You're going to tell me that this movie was more entertaining than Zack Snyder's Justice League? You're going to be critical of Zack Snyder's Justice League, but you're going to talk about what a masterpiece this was? This is where people, like I said, this is where people completely lose credibility in my mind. When I hear people say those kinds of things, I don't even want to associate with those people. Because I get to the point where I say, well, if this is your taste in film, how do you feel about, for example, Martin Scorsese or John Woo or Stanley Kubrick or any of the other brilliant and wonderful filmmakers that are out
Uh,
there giving us fantastic films. If you're telling me that Matt Reeves' The Batman at like 3 hours is a masterpiece, but Zack Snyder's Justice League is trash, then I don't think you are qualified to talk about film, and you should just
no.
stay in your little bubble and leave us in our bubble, because I want to be in my echo chamber with you, Austin. I
Yeah.
feel happy here because at least here we can tell it like it is. And if Matt Reeves made a good movie, I would have been the first person to admit it, and I would have said I was wrong and whatever, but he didn't. The
Yeah.
movie turned out to be just as bad, if
Junk.
not worse, than I thought it was going to be.
It was it's funny that I if you listen to people who are like, well, it wasn't so bad, and one of the first things they list as to why they liked it, like, well, I like how he portrayed Gotham. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, so you
Gotham.
didn't.
Gotham is a character in this movie.
Yeah.
Gotham. Gotham is just as important as Batman in this movie. Oh, and the music. Oh, that theme. Oh my God. They're practically having a heart attack over the
Yeah.
music. But when you think about it, the music is kind of trash too. Because
Yeah.
when you really think about it, it was just like a bootleg version of the Imperial March, of Darth Vader's Imperial March from The Empire Strikes Back. That's all it really was. It was just like a edgier, like a Nirvana version of the Darth Vader March. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, and they talk too much, honestly, before this film.
Oh
I
my
think
God, yeah. And the merchandising for this movie,
yeah.
man. I walked into a hardware store before this movie came out, and there was Batman wrenches and stuff, and I was like, you know what? This is insane. I am out of this is incredible to me.
Yeah, dude, I got ads for Dr. Squatch's Batman soap. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, I want to get that just to freaking wipe my ass with it every day, dude.
I wipe my ass with the Batman. Oh my God. I want to get some Robert Pattinson toilet paper. That's what I
Yeah.
want to get. Yes. Extra
Good.
smooth.
Thanks for making me all nice and
got
clean.
we got Matthew McConaughey again. All right. Yeah, that's how I feel, Matthew. That's exactly how I feel, guy. This is where we are. And El Necron says, back to death metal, guys. Thank you, El Necron, for stopping by. Hopefully, you'll be able to catch the replay, because we're just going back and forth here, giving
Love me
our
some
feelings
Necron.
about this
I was
Batman stuff.
I watched his most, I think it was his most recent video about 80s death metal and Slayer, and I really caught up
He's
on
really great.
Dude, it's
really
awesome.
great.
And if you're watching this and you like music in general, just go listen to these guys talk about it, because it's cool to listen to people who are passionate and know stuff about things that you didn't experience, but you maybe saw from a distance and you had your own opinion on it. Like listening to them today, I listened to them today while I was working. I was like, man, this is cool. I want to have a beer with these guys. Like these are cool guys, and I like listening to like Necron. Like, all right, man. So moving on, this is what happened. And he's listening it all out. I'm like, I'm learning so much about things I didn't know, and I wasn't even alive for. But yeah, I didn't mean to derail you. I just wanted to show love to
No, you're
Necron.
not derailing me at all. I completely agree with you on Necron. He is awesome too, and I am so happy that he's gotten back into the swing of streaming and stuff.
Hell
And
yeah.
he's also got a buddy of his, and they talk about 80s movies and stuff.
Francesco, yeah.
They just talked about an old recently. They just talked about an old movie with Keanu Reeves and Crispin Glover and
River's Edge.
The River's Edge, which is
Yeah.
an awesome movie. I think Dennis Hopper's in it. I mean, listen, these guys are onto something. He's got a great channel going. I shout out to El Necron, man.
Yeah.
He definitely is doing it right now. And Sox Bulletins here says, I'm an MCU guy, and I can't watch that new Thor movie again. I don't hate it, but it's too much comedy.
We got a mole, dude. We got a mole. I didn't know he was an MCU guy.
Yeah, I didn't know you were an MCU guy, Sox. I always thought you were a DC guy,
Snyder Verse.
but it's cool,
It's
man.
all good. It's all good.
You're DC too, and also hashtag into the Mikey verse, which we
Yep.
all are, which
Absolutely.
is also beautiful too. So hey, Socks, it's cool, man. I mean, there's no shame. I'm not shaming anybody for liking Marvel. Okay,
Right.
I want to clear that up, because the thing is that there are some MCU movies that I like as well, but I'm not a fan of turning every epic Marvel character into a laughing joke.
Mhm.
That's not what these movies should be.
Right.
And my problem is, when you do that, you are basically saying, I want the audience to laugh more than anything else. I don't care about plot. I don't care about story. I don't care if it flows. I don't care if it's thematic or it does anything. It moves you as an audience member. I just want you to buy your popcorn, eat like a pig while you're in front of the movie screen, enjoy the movie, and then when you leave, it's just like, this is the reason why. And Martin Scorsese got a lot of heat when he said that Marvel films are like theme park rides.
Oh, he wasn't wrong though.
But he's exactly right. You get out, it's a ride. You watch the movie, you're entertained, you laugh a little, you're horrified by how they've taken these movies and turned them into complete slapstick comedies. You are completely blown away by the fact that they've done that, and then you get up and you walk away, you forget about it, and you move on to the next one. It's
Mhm.
about consumption. That's all it's about.
Yeah.
It's
As soon as
about consuming it and forgetting about it.
Mhm. They're like they almost the formula like shifted almost over the years to just we want to make sure that they always feel good, and like the suppression of actually letting the viewers see something and feel something. I mean, I don't remember exactly what movie it was, but because there was no DC coming out, I was watching MCU and following along with the Infinity Saga,
Yeah.
and it was somewhere along the way, but there was a movie that specifically like three times right in a row, there would be serious moments and you would feel something as a viewer and you'd be like, oh man. And then you just like a joke. Like, well, did you guys even care about what just happened? Or and then something happens again. Somebody dies, something crazy. And then we got another joke. I'm like, okay, is it not the end of the world here? Or like, what is going on? And they want it to be, they want the MCU to be set in the real world and think that that's the real world, but that's not. Like, that's why they had such a adverse taste to when they saw BVS, because they were like, they didn't want to be confronted with the fact that that's how our media would react and everything that played out in that movie is real. They didn't want to
Yep.
be confronted with that.
That was the first BVS was the first time I actually thought about
Right.
what our world would be like if
You're like,
Superman
oh
existed.
shit,
Like,
they would do that.
that's what it
Yeah.
would be. And the true, and it's so true. And you look at it and you're like, yes, this is exactly what would happen. This is
Hmm.
Zach knows what he's talking about.
Right.
Zach knows the real world, which is again not what these other filmmakers are doing. And
No.
when you talk about Matt Reeves, the Batman, it wasn't a jokey a jokey movie, but it was a
Hmm.
failure on a different level
Right.
where they just I don't know. I really don't know what audience Matt Reeves was going for. I think you have to be really young. I'm talking between 15 to 22 to maybe relate to it, because I was on a live stream not too long ago with a gentleman who was a kid. He was in like, I think he's in like his second year of college or something, and
Hmm.
he was saying that Matt Reeves' version of the Batman is the Batman that I always wanted to see on the big screen. And he actually gave reasons as to why it related to him and why he felt it was the definitive version of Batman for him. It was so basically I kind of felt like, yeah, it's the Batman for that generation. That
Yeah.
generation is and if that's their Batman, that's pretty messed up.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, if that's how you see Batman, if that's the version that you've wanted to see your whole life, I'm glad that that resonates with you and that you got what you want. But like Snyder Queen says right here, you know what Thor needs? Thor needs a Rocky workout montage. What? What?
That's what I
I
was
don't.
saying. They're trying to bring the he was trying to bring the what's hitting right now, which is 80s nostalgia, but there is no 80s nostalgia for Thor. He
Yeah,
wasn't around
yeah.
then. You
You're
can't
not
just
getting
fucking
that.
put in shit like that.
You're just gonna throw it in there. Oh yeah, 80s nostalgia, 80s nostalgia. Listen,
Yeah.
listen, man.
Remember
I
this moment?
I got
Remember this
80s
moment?
nostalgia. I got 80s nostalgia, and I got a ton of great 80s movies I can watch. I can watch any of the Rocky movies.
Right.
I mean, Sylvester Stallone just put out not too long ago a director's cut of Rocky 4. So if you
Wow.
want to see a
Yes.
brand new director's cut that just came out not too long ago, like several months back, was just released. I don't think it has like a Blu-ray release or anything yet, but it is available digitally for
Okay.
those that want to see it, and it is fantastic. I loved it. As a fan of the Rocky franchise, as a fan of Rocky 4, when the director's cut came out, I was excited for it. I mean,
Yeah.
I got it day one when it came out because I'm like, man, this is amazing, especially all these years later coming back. He did it when we were all in quarantine, and
Mm.
he
Oh, that's
went in and
perfect.
was able to go into the studio and recut the movie, and oh my god, it's really nice. Like he did a great job, and he didn't
Yeah.
cut out and he didn't cut out the workout montages either. But I will say,
Those
I
are
will say
original.
he did a great job. I think it was awesome. But
Those were original, you
yeah,
know?
I mean, there's tons of
Like a
great 80s
copy.
movies we can watch if we wanna relive 80s nostalgia. We don't the original Star Wars movies. We don't need to have these modern Thor movies
Mhm.
try to simp for nostalgia in order to get us to go see their movies.
Yeah, they're just trying I don't know what they're trying to play into with the movie, honestly. I really don't know. I made a joke that, you know, Taika TW that he was trying to make this he made this movie for schoolgirls. And somebody commented was like, "I think not." I blah blah blah. I'm like, well, I hate to tell you, dude, but I think that you might be a schoolgirl because that just like I'm sorry if you like it so much that you're coming in my tweet that I didn't even know this guy, and I was just like, it's not for us. It's not for the adults. It's not for the people who started out and watched Thor one. For sure, not for
If you
us.
watch Thor 1, you go back and you
You
watch
know?
Thor 1 and you
Yeah.
compare it to this movie that just came out, it's literally night and day different.
It's
Like
crazy.
the Thor of Thor 1 would be if the Thor of Thor 1 were to see the Thor of Love and Thunder, he would be embarrassed.
Yeah.
He would be like what is going on? In what world, in what universe, in what multiverse, in what timeline does this version of me exist, and where do I have to go to eradicate it?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Let me
That's
stop this.
because you're talking about a Shakespearean version of Thor
Ugh,
versus a complete re-
buffoon.
rejection.
Yeah,
Rejection. And when I say rejection, he's rejected life. He's just a complete, like you said, buffoon. There's
yeah.
nothing redeemable about any of these characters now, and I'm just sick of it.
He's supposed to
This
be
is
a
why I
god.
have no desire to even, yeah. And if this is how God is,
Yeah, what?
it explains why the world is the way that it is
Yeah.
now. The
I
world that
mean,
we live in.
yeah, that thought right there is giving TW way too much credit. Like he's not trying to do that. He's just trying to make a mockery and have it be a circus.
Tai Taika Waititi does this because he can get away with it,
Yeah,
because he's getting paid to do this. When he put
absolutely.
out that tweet I'll ruin your mythos in a minute, baby. When he put that out,
You should have
it
known.
shows you that he doesn't care. He
Yeah.
comes from the school of Ryan Johnson, which is basically just let me take your dreams, pee all over them, and then give them back to you and tell you how stupid you were for believing in these mythologies.
Yeah. And can you I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he did at one point, like over quarantine or something, watch the Snyder Cut. And I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't like it because obviously he has no taste in superhero movies. He doesn't know what he's doing. And and I liked Ragnarok to an extent, but there was a lot of things in that movie I'm like, what the F is this? And this is too much for me, someone who likes Thor, and like you said, it's Shakespearean. You go from the Thor one, even if you read Thor comics, dude, his font is different. Like they don't have the same font for Thor that they do for everybody else because he talks that differently because he's from a different realm. And then they try to like Americanize this guy in the cinema, and yeah, it's a comic book adaptation, but now it's like, well, what is it now? What are you doing? Is it supposed to be some kind of like sitcom movie? It sucks to see because they could use it all for like empowerment, and they could empower the ladies in that film, but they make a mockery of them. And they had Bale the whole time to I thought Bale was gonna, and like, yeah, Bale is probably
They talk about these same people
yeah,
talk about Snyder as being misogynistic and not showing women correctly. And you watch the Snyder cut and you see how heroic those Amazons are
dude.
in fighting Steppenwolf. Anybody that says that Snyder is misogynistic after they see that sequence needs to go see a doctor and
Right, and
have
if
their head examined.
they're still saying that, it's just because they never saw the Snyder Cut and they saw the Whedon Cut, and all the things that they thought were misogynistic or whatever was all from Joss Whedon, and it wasn't anything that Snyder put in. There was so many, I knew we all were like, "Oh, what was actually in Snyder's version that was in Justice League?" And all the stuff that was cut out, you're like, "Oh, that makes sense. Like that definitely didn't come from him. Like he's
Oh yeah,
not."
well, like
Yeah.
remember that like the Flash falling on Wonder
That's
Woman's
what I'm
breasts.
saying. It's
That I mean,
example
all
A.
that kind of stuff. Like it's like, come on, man. Like they all know that Joss Whedon is a creepy little pervert, but these same people that will talk about Snyder being a misogynist and all this other crap will defend Joss Whedon.
Yeah, they've heard.
I've seen it so many times. It's pathetic.
It really is, and you're like, "Oh, so you just really have no idea what you're talking about then." When I see that, and that's when I go in on I all right, block, see you later, because you're
Yeah.
just willfully ignorant. Still
These are
has said
it's the
that all
same people.
year.
It's the same people that it is. It's the same people that will make jokes and will say evil and despicable things and talk about uh, sick and twisted things that they say happened between Zack Snyder and his daughter, and that's why she committed suicide. Listen, when you see that kind of stuff, and then you see these same people defending Joss Whedon and sticking up for Joss Whedon, but yet they call Snyder misogynistic and they call all Snyder fans cultists and they attack us for wanting more of what we love, but it's okay for them to
Right.
stick up for people like James Gunn, who literally I don't even want to get into James Gunn, but the reality is that this is what we're dealing with now. And
Yeah.
and with that, Sharon Peters says, you can say whatever you want about Thor, but I think we can all agree that he has the biggest hammer of all the superheroes. And Sharon, you're probably right. I'm
Yeah.
not going to disagree with you there.
Yeah, for
He
sure.
probably he has the biggest hammer. Sox Bulletin says Wonder Woman 84 was so bad. I agree. I agree. Wonder
Mhm.
Woman 84 was like watching paint dry. The only thing worse is the Batman. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Batman is worse than Wonder Woman 84. It really is. I can actually watch Wonder Woman 84. Not
Yeah.
for not for positive reasons. It's still a very, very bad movie. And if I watch it again, I'm going to watch it to laugh at it. But I can't even laugh at the Batman. The Batman is so horrible that actually, and I've said this before, I actually really like Batman and Robin now because of the Batman. I think Batman and Robin is actually a thoroughly entertaining and enjoyable film, and George Clooney did a great job with what he was given, the material he was given to work with. He did a great job, and let's be honest, it had all the Bat family in there. You had Batman, Robin, Batgirl. He became Nightwing at the end of the movie. I mean, it's about as comic booky of a movie as you can get in comparison to Matt Reeves' The Batman that will put you to sleep.
Yeah, no, you're so right.
I mean, at least Batman and Robin is colorful entertainment that you can
Yep.
enjoy, and it keeps you going, and you can't take your eyes off of what you're seeing. But the Batman is not so much.
No, Batman and Robin to me is kind of like that's the Marvel formula back then,
Right.
you know? And I saw that as a kid, and I loved it as a kid. I didn't understand, like, obviously I didn't know about any hate for it. I just saw it because I liked Batman, I liked DC, and my mom was like, "Oh, like, did you see this? This is new." We're going through Blockbuster, I was like, "Oh, I'll watch that. That looks cool. It's got everybody in it. Huh? They made a movie with everybody in it?
Yeah,
I gotta see
I
it."
gotta admit, like people talk about what a bad movie Batman and Robin is, but I would counter that because you can watch Batman and Robin, and you can actually, if you really want to get into the weeds about Batman and Robin, you can actually listen to the commentary. They have a commentary on the Blu-ray DVD with the director Joel Schumacher, and
Mhm.
he actually apologizes to the audience for how campy the movie is and but he talks about all the commercialism and
Yeah.
consumerism that went into the making of Batman and Robin. The studio wanted to sell toys. They wanted to sell Happy Meals. They did not want Batman to be super dark. They wanted Batman to be bright and colorful. They wanted to be able they wanted it to be a comic book.
Yep.
And that's what they got. I would actually say that Batman and Robin is probably the truest in terms of a, a comic book come to life. If you just want to take a comic book, it's a very comic booky movie, and I think
Absolutely.
people, and I think a lot of it, and I think back then it got a bad rap because it was coming off of you know the Tim Burton movies, which were the polar opposite of that in terms of darkness.
Mhm.
I mean, the Tim Burton movies are considered dark even by today's standards for Batman movies. Even when you consider all of the movies that come out, they say, well, Michael Keaton, kills people with impunity in these Batman movies. He'll kill people with a smile. He's not,
Yeah.
but the truth is, when you look at George Clooney, he was actually the truest, until Ben Affleck came along,
Mhm.
because Ben Affleck was another actor who just embodies Bruce Wayne and Batman totally, as the duality, and he pulls it off. And
Yeah.
I think if you were to give George Clooney a darker script, I think George Clooney could have pulled it off too.
Oh, I think
I just think that he wasn't given that. He was given something a lot more colorful and a lot more comic booky at the time.
mhm. No, for sure. I mean, you've seen anything else with George Clooney. He can do the dark, gritty stuff, but also when you see him as Bruce Wayne in that movie, you're like, "Oh yeah, this is the playboy. This is
Yeah,
like," and
totally.
George Clooney is gonna swoon these women all damn day like Bruce Wayne would. And that's what the duality is so key to us, and it's such an adamant factor because in Gotham, there's not many freaking billionaires who own Gotham, basically. And who's the one guy? Who's somebody that could fund themselves to be Batman? Bruce Wayne. But then you go to see Bruce Wayne, you're like, nah, he can't be Batman. There's no way. There's no way he could be Batman. Look at Bruce. He's such a nice guy. He's a philanthropist. He's doing charity here. He's at a gala there. He's building a school here. There's no way that Batman and Bruce Wayne are the same person. There's no way. Until you see The Batman directed by Matt Reeves and you're like, what is going on here? That movie to me was made for young, not, I should say young men, because I don't think they're men at all, but young adults who act like children who don't have a great relationship with their father. That to me, it's like point blank. It's like, oh, you don't get along with your dad, obviously. Like, you must have disappointed your family in some sort of way. So that's why you really dig this movie, because I didn't see any respect for Alfred for bringing up Bruce or anything like that. Of course, they're going to relate to him screaming from the basement up to his dad, "You're not my father!" Like, oh my God. What the dude, when I saw that, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. What is this whiny little baby? The Bruce Wayne that we know, the Batman that we know, freaking hiked himself into the Himalayan mountains in order to train. This Bruce Wayne did not do that for sure.
He was a whiny little emotional bitch. I'm going to say it right now. He was. There was nothing interesting about him. It was all just me, pity me. There was nothing good about the character. The character was written horribly. I don't know what comic books these people are saying that this movie came from, because I checked all these comic books. I went and looked at what was it called? Batman Ego or whatever it was. I read Ego, and Ego was nothing like this movie. There were a couple other ones, but none of them were anything like that. Pattinson's portrayal of Batman and Bruce Wayne being one single entity made no sense.
No.
And again, that's the fundamental thing about the character that you cannot change if you want to make Batman. I don't care if they made Batman a caveman, as long as they gave him like a literal, like Neanderthal caveman, like in one of the comic books. They actually did that in one of the comics. But as long as you gave him a duality where he was Bruce Wayne and then he was Batman, he was two different people, you could get along with that and you could understand that. But now that this movie has been out, I wish these simps would admit that it is not Batman, that this is not, that that what we get in Matt Reeves' movie is not Batman. It is a fan fiction that was given a big budget and turned into a movie. I've seen fan films that are better than this movie.
Yeah. It's a origin story for Nicolas Cage's character in Kick-Ass, dude.
Pretty much. Actually, when you think about it, and I'm glad you said that, if Matt Reeves was doing that origin story, you could literally, that's actually really good, Austin. You could watch this movie and then watch Kick-Ass and be like, yep, that makes sense. That's perfect. That's actually, it actually does kind of feel like that. But that's what I'm saying. It could have been just called The Vigilante.
Yeah.
It could have been ambiguous as to who it was supposed to be. It didn't have to be Batman.
Yeah.
Didn't have to be Bruce Wayne. And he could have had all the Nirvana stuff in there too. And that's the other thing. This movie took place in the modern day. This movie didn't take place in the 90s like it was rumored that it was going to take place in.
Yeah.
So because it took place in the modern day, that made even less sense to have all that Nirvana stuff. It made even less sense to have that in there. Because you're talking, it's in the modern day. Most of the young kids that are relating to this movie have no idea who Nirvana even is.
I know.
So what are you doing, Matt Reeves?
Yeah. It's almost like he's trying to relive his childhood through this movie. And it was like, I was listening to Nirvana and
I
watching
mean, he should have had,
Ben
he should have
Ben
had, he should have had Rugrats and SpongeBob on in the background. Really, if he really wants to appeal to these kids' childhood,
Yeah, I
versus
know.
what he's doing here. I mean, I don't get it. And Zeno, what's up, man? He says there's really no memorable moments in the Batman to want to watch it again unless you get excited by slow walks and dark alleys.
Oh, dude. The only thing that I would watch again over and over and over, I imagine that Robert Patterson is doing the stunt when he flies into the bridge, and that's him skidding across the freaking ground. I'm like, oh yeah, I enjoy it. I was like, I wish it. I imagine it as him actually doing that stunt, clipping the bridge, skidding across the. I'm like, yep, that's what you get, bro. That's what you get. And if you were bulked up, you probably would have flew over that bridge or under that bitch. Like you deserve that, man. But I know obviously it's not him. It was probably a stunt man, probably mostly CGI'd. But that's the only thing I'll rewatch from that movie is him hitting the bridge. I'm like, yes, you deserve it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, and they ruined the Riddler. They made the Riddler into
Yeah.
a YouTuber, and you know, like, share, and subscribe. He was totally. I don't know. I
Let me
would have
know what
loved to
you
have
think in the
seen. I would have loved to have
comments.
seen him getting. I would have loved to have seen the Riddler getting super chats. Then I probably
Yeah.
would have enjoyed it a little more because it would have been like, okay, well, at least they're, Matt Reeves is going for some realism here, but he didn't even do
Right.
that. And Snyder Queen says Nicholas Hoult would be an amazing Batman. I agree. I think Nicholas Hoult would have been good, and I think Nicholas Hoult would have bulked up for the role. So he would have looked more like
Yeah.
Batman than Sparkles.
He would have been honored to play such an iconic
Yeah,
role.
he would have, and he would have did it. He would have did it well, and I think he would have given us a differential between Batman and Bruce Wayne. I
For
wouldn't be
sure.
surprised if the idea to make Batman and Bruce Wayne one character came from Robert Pattinson because he's too lazy to have changed personas, and he was so irritated and so bothered because he had to work out a little just to be in the movie that he didn't want that they probably based it all around Robert Pattinson's diva attitude while they were filming the movie. They're like, oh, okay, you're a diva, so we might as well just, we'll make Batman and Bruce Wayne into a bitter version of Robert Pattinson. That's what we'll do, and you could just play it like Kurt Cobain. We'll
Oh
even
my
give you
god.
a little bit of cocaine in between scenes, and you can get all coked up and go
All ragey.
play with Catwoman's calzone for a little while. This is what we're dealing with. I mean, I don't understand, man. I'm like, hey, I don't have, this movie is just ridiculous. Let's see. And Snyder Queen says I'd work out for 3 months for
Yeah,
5 million, whatever he got. I don't know what he
easily.
got, but did he get how much?
I don't know if he got that much. I wouldn't be surprised, but easily I would do that. Like, what
Yeah.
what do you
I
have
mean,
going on? That's
what's the problem? Spend some time in the gym. You're playing Batman, for Christ's sake. And here's the other thing. I don't know how you look at Ben Affleck, and then you say, just like, because remember, there was a workout montage scene, Snyder Queen, in BVS,
yeah.
where we got to literally see Ben Affleck working out, literally doing work in that film when he
Mhm.
was getting in shape. I mean, and he was doing crazy Rocky type stuff, man. I mean, this was not
Crazy.
a joke. And that's why I'm saying when I see Robert Pattinson, he's a complete wimp. But I mean, Ben Affleck could knock him out with his pinky, just pinky punch, and Pattinson would be on the ground. Pattinson had no fighting style. The fight scenes were so poorly choreographed for that movie. They just look like random street brawls. There was like nothing, martial arts about them whatsoever. And people are
Yeah.
like, oh, he's just a young Batman. He's still learning. No, he's not. He's almost in his third year as Batman. It's like, if this is year 2 Batman, it's like you said earlier, Austin, he was already in the Himalayas training with the League of Assassins to become the Batman that we know. By year 3, year 4, he's full-fledged Batman. There's no joke about it. He's still learning some stuff, but the fundamentals about who he is as a character are all still there.
Absolutely.
And so all Matt Reeves did was strip the character of virtually all the fundamentals that make the character who he is, create his own crappy version of whatever this character was, and called the movie The Batman. That's all he did. He used some elements from Batman's mythology, but basically he just I mean, there's people out there who are critical of the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, but I will say this for the people that are critical of Christopher Nolan's work: Christopher Nolan looks like a complete Batman genius when you compare what he had Christian Bale doing to what Robert Pattinson did in this movie.
Right. That's the only way that they really out Nolaned Nolan, is the fact that they got further away from comic book accuracy in any stance. But like, you can't watch the Nolan trilogy and say that it's not Batman in any way. Like, yeah, there is this time where Bruce is acting like a punk in the beginning, but he listens to Alfred, and Alfred helps him realize that he needs to have the duality, and he's like, you're right. And then that's when he changes his mindset and becomes like the young Batman that we know, when he's recruiting Lucius Fox to be, a part of this scheme that he has. And they make little jokes like, oh yeah, R&D department's been, inactive for a while now. Might be able to fire it up for the boss of the company, but I don't know. Like, do you think that Reeves could have ever had that dialogue planned? Anything close to Nolan? No freaking way. It would have been ridiculous to what he tried to do. It would have been spelled out. They would have been like, I'm gonna help you, and we're not gonna talk about anything, and it's gonna be a secret. And blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I'm saying? It would have been so crappy compared to the Nolan trilogy. Really did that well. They did the Bruce Wayne transition from being the mad, he's mad for a bit, but for like 30 minutes of the movie, and then he grows up to be first year Batman.
Well, we've got Jesse Allen here, and Jesse Allen, man, you are awesome. He says they should have included the scene that Zod leaked, and you know what? I agree, they should have. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this for you guys because this scene was not in the movie.
Hey, right from that all right, what's up? What's up? We should just go blast the motherfucker. Hey, come on, let's go blast that fool. Oh yeah, do shit. Never want to do nothing. Relax. That shit just blast the rest of stupid. On the serious side, we gotta blast that fool, man.
Freeze. Don't even think about moving. Turn that fucking noise off. I should shoot every last one of you just based on the music you listen to.
Hey, check this clown out. Halloween until October. Didn't we kill his chingat might already?
Now, I'm not here to trick or treat, but I'm definitely here to turn you fucking douchebags into permanent ghosts. Get on your knees and interlock your fingers behind your head. You bitches get your ass in that room, and I swear to God, if I see a sliver of light from that door jam, I'm gonna have each and every one of you suited for a white sheet with black holes for eyes, you feel me?
Fucking killed you, dog. I left you for dead in the alley that night. You ain't even fucking here. You're a ghost, vato.
You killed the man, not the cause. You thought you were pretty badass out there destroying people's lives, did you? Well, I'm here to settle the score for every last person you victimized in this city.
You know who you fucking with, you stupid motherfucker?
Yeah, I know who I'm fucking with. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, and dead as evil Knievel.
No, motherfucker, you know what? You're fucking with pure evil. We got our homies on the barrel. They'll be back any second, dog. You know what? Regardless, you ain't getting out of here alive. You're done, that's it.
That may be true, but I'll live long enough to piss on your fucking grave. Judge not, that I not be judged. Though I walk in the shadow of darkness, my shield is my vengeance, my armor is my hatred. My weapon is my Father, His Son, and her Holy Ghost. This is a message from this city. Every Mog has its day. Matos.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was a deleted scene that was supposed to have been in the Batman movie from Matt Reeves, but unfortunately, the studio thought, the clown table thought it was too graphic for Batman and didn't use the scene. So thank you, Jesse Allen, for bringing that up. I actually was glad to play it again for all of you guys. I miss that. I think that scene was, I was playing that deleted scene a lot before the movie came out. So yeah, it's unfortunate it wasn't in there.
That's hilarious. I wanted to say something about the people who ride hype trains, and then like the Batman, when the movie comes out and then they fall off until they hop onto another movie. Mm-hmm. The reason why they can do that, and they do it so much, is because you can say anything about a movie before the movie comes out, until people can actually see it for themselves and form their own opinion. Then you just talk out of your ass all day. You have to hear other people's opinions, and they come to you and they're like, can't believe you said this was bad. How is this bad? And then you have to actually explain yourself, and you don't know how to, because what you said was just something you were saying to get a click or to follow some agenda, and you don't actually believe what you said. So then you look like an idiot, and then you have to be like, wow, blah, blah, blah. Then you fall off of that train and you wait for the next train to hop on. And then you're like, oh yeah, this is going to be the greatest movie of all time. I love this director. I love this actor. I love this writer. Then it comes out and it's not. And then everyone has to come to you again and like, I thought you said this is going to be the greatest movie of all time. Whoa. I mean, it wasn't, but this next movie coming out, this is going to be, and it's just a cycle of just endlessness. And then the people like us are like, oh yeah, that's BS right there. This person's a shill. They're just trying to get some kind of access.
I want to make one thing clear, because people think because I'm so critical of Matt Reeves' Batman movie that I am attacking people who like the movie.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going at them for liking what they like. And that couldn't be further from the truth.
Absolutely.
If you love Matt Reeves, the Batman, if you love Robert Pattinson as Batman, good on you. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy you got a movie that you can enjoy and a movie that resonates with you. I'm just saying that I don't understand it. I'm speaking for myself. Right. I'm speaking for my own experience. I'm not trying to crap on you. And when people come in our mentions on Twitter all the time, when we celebrate a victory in the Snyder Cut fandom, they come in our mentions all the time and try to figure out ways to derail our happiness or take our joy away. So if Sil and Mikey tell us that the air cut is imminent, or Sil and Mikey tell us that more of the Snyder Verse is coming, we're called crackpots, we're made fun of, we're called all kinds of names, we're told that the Snyder Verse isn't continuing, where we get treated like total, utter dog crap.
Yep.
We don't get the same respect that I give other people for liking what they like. And as I said before, you could be a fan of Robert Pattinson's Batman movie. I'm not mad at you, and I'm not saying that you're wrong if you see it that way. But if you come into my mentions attacking me because I want more of the Snyderverse while claiming that Matt Reeves' The Batman is a masterpiece, well, now you've issued me a challenge and you're giving me reason to go at you.
Right.
So let me make that clear. Those are the people that Austin and I are talking about right now. Nobody is saying that if you love the Batman, you're a clown or there's something wrong with you. I mean, that's just your taste in the movie. Like Hans. Hans is a friend of mine. I like Hans. Hans loves the Batman, and that's perfectly fine. You'll never hear me say anything bad about you because you love that movie. I do not have problems with people who love that movie. But the problem I had was when I said Morbius, when I on Twitter said Morbius was better than the Batman, I had thousands of people, literally, not exaggerating. You can go see the tweet yourself. I literally had thousands of people coming into my mentions attacking me because I had the nerve to say that Morbius was a better movie than the Batman. And that was just my opinion. And if they didn't, and if you don't care about my opinion, then why are you in my mentions attacking me? You
just
could
keep
say,
scrolling.
You could just say, oh, that guy's a moron. Whatever. But no, they had to come in and they felt the need to defend that movie as though they have a reason to defend it. Like I'm not going in your mentions telling you that Matt Reeves' The Batman sucks. Why would I go into a thread that's a pro Matt Reeves Batman thread where everybody's talking about how much they love that movie? Why would I be that guy and go into that thread and say, this movie is trash, Pattinson is trash, and you all are trash because you like it? If I do that, that's my own fault. It's my own fault why I got tagged, because I'm going in there instigating. And this is what people do to us. This is what we have to deal with on a daily basis whenever we post anything. And now it's not even just about the Snyderverse anymore. It's not even about, really about Zack Snyder. Now it's about Sil and Mikey.
Right.
We get attacked just because of our association with Sil and Mikey, because we believe in what they're telling us. We actually listen to them. We're fans. We're friends with Sil and Mikey. So now we get attacked for that. People will come in our mentions and start attacking us just for the hell of it because they've got nothing better to do. And most of the time, it's people using burner accounts where they follow 10 people and nobody's following them back.
Yeah, it's usually a name and a bunch of numbers. That's how you know it's a burner or a bot. You're like, oh, okay. You're not actually here for a discussion. You're just here to cause disruption. And okay, bye. Block. Dude, and I will say this, I will defend Mikey and Sil to the end of the earth, man. Even if they could be wrong on something.
I tell people. I told a guy, there was a guy that I know that I've known for a long time who said, well, why? Who asked me straight up? He's like, well, Zod, why do you always defend Sil and Mikey? And I came straight out and said, I will shill for Sil till the day that I die, because Sil is my friend. Sil has my back. I have his back. Sil and I came into this YouTube thing together. Most of y'all probably don't even know that. Like, Sil and I started streaming together. Literally. I was doing internet radio at the time. I wasn't even on YouTube, but I had a following through the internet radio that I did. And Sil didn't have anything. He was just starting up, and that's when we got together with Ryan Zieverfed and Dawson, and we became the Four Nerds. We were the Four Nerds. We were the legacy version of the Four Nerds, and essentially, that's how we kind of got our start on YouTube and started doing our thing. And that's when I transitioned away from doing internet radio and started doing YouTube instead. And You saw what happened with Sil and Mikey, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Look, it's basically just, now. So when people say, well, they could be wrong, and you just hit it on the head. Yeah, they could be wrong one of these days, but they haven't been wrong.
Right. Yeah. And even
You
if they
know?
are, it's not going to change our opinion on who they are to us. Like, and they'll be
Right.
they'll own up to it. To be like, oh, I guess I was wrong on that one. And we're like, whatever, dude. You can't get them all, And I can't believe that people even try to hold something over. They're just waiting for something to be wrong if it is wrong that they've said, and all that they're gonna Mikey and Sil are gonna do in reply are gonna be like, oh well, yeah, I guess we were told the wrong info on that, or something was changed. But that doesn't make them bad people. They're not forcing us out of money.
They're not claiming, and they're not even, and that's the thing, they're not confirming anything.
Right. They're just speculating.
They're speculating. They're what do they call themselves? They're scoop commentators.
Yeah.
That's their thing. That's what they say, right?
Right.
And the thing is, there was a lot of controversy about Sil when they over this Michael Keaton allegedly playing Thomas Wayne in The Flash. That we've covered that, but we hear that so much. I mean, there was a guy going at me on Twitter tooth and nail about that, acting like, well, I got evidence of this, and this from Sil and Mikey. And my answer to that was, have you seen the movie yet?
Yeah, dude. I think I was in that thread with you.
Yeah, I think you were. I think you were.
Because that was the same day that the digital was announced, and then he just hopped in there and was like, dude, we were talking about the digital, I believe. And then they came in and were like, well, what about the L's? And I was like, the only L that needs to be had in this conversation is the capital one in front of life that y'all need to get, and get the hell out of our mentions.
That's right.
It's ridiculous.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, again, and here's the thing, Hans. Okay, you say that the Batman is a masterpiece. That's your opinion. I totally get it that that's your opinion. But my question to you is, how often have you seen the movie since it became available in the home market? How often do you watch it? I mean, because that's a legitimate question that I have. If it's a masterpiece and it's something that you love and it's something that you resonate to, then you must watch it, right? It must have replay value. On average, how many times have you seen the Batman? And this is just me. This is a legitimate question, because I ask a lot of people this, because a lot of people have said, and Austin and I talked about this a little bit earlier, that a lot of times they'll say it's a masterpiece and they'll say how much they love it. And then you ask them, well, when are you going to watch it again? Oh, I don't know. I'm going to watch it again soon, but I don't know. I don't need to watch it again right now. Where if you ask me or Austin about Batman v Superman, somebody just brings up Batman v Superman and you're like, you know what? I think I'm going to watch that again tonight. like it really, because it has replay value.
Absolutely.
So that's my question. Like, if it's for me, when somebody calls a movie a masterpiece, it's because they can watch it multiple times and enjoy it and get something from it. And personally, I got nothing from the Batman but a headache.
Yeah. Dude, and that's the thing that I love so much about Zack Snyder movies. When I was in the theater watching BVS, and when they're fighting in those old empty warehouses, because knowing Snyder, knowing all the layers that he puts into a movie, I'm looking at the graffiti on the walls trying to see if there's hidden messages that he put there, because I know that'd be something like him to do. Oh, there's writing there. Like, what does it say? Oh man, like, how does that connect to everything? And even in Zack Snyder's Justice League, when you see the newspaper go in front of the screen at the beginning of the movie, my first inkling was like, oh, I have to stop and see if there's anything on that, because he would put something that's on that paper that is, some kind of foreshadowing in the movie, and people get surprised and they champion and all power to the Duffer Brothers for Stranger Things. But there's like the foreshadowing tattoos that Eddie has of the Hellbats on his arm, and they're blown away by this foreshadowing. I'm like, man, can I just interest you guys in some more foreshadowing movies over here with Man of Steel and the everything that is connected with Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like, if you want foreshadowing and you want great story and you want all these layers, can I interest you in some DC that has been bad mouthed and ridiculed for no reason because people don't understand it? And it's ridiculous, dude. And it's the same thing. People who like to watch Invincible or people who like The Boys, and they have bad things to say about like Man of Steel or Batman v Superman. I'm like, do you guys know what you're even saying?
Well,
But you
like
like all these other things.
the boys in Invincible are. I mean, I don't know if these people know this, but the boys at Invincible, Zack Snyder is the blueprint. The boys, the showrunners of the boys are like Zack Snyder fanboys,
Right.
literally.
Right.
And they're giving you content
a parody almost.
that is almost a parody of Zack Snyder's universe, and are actually and to prove this, you had Zack Snyder tweeting out stuff about the boys not too long ago. He was tweeting out stuff about the Burke cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
that was really cool. And I was like, oh, well, like, this is hilarious how big this movement is. And it's also hilarious for how long WB has tried to ignore it. That other companies are now using our fandom to profit. Like, remember, was it Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers? They had Batman, like, they had Batman vs Superman, different studios movie, dude. What are we doing?
It was Ben Affleck's Batman against E.T.
Yeah,
and I thought it was fantastic. Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers is one of my favorite movies of this year because it had so much. You talk about a movie cashing in on nostalgia,
right?
And not trying. I mean, they had ugly Sonic in the movie. Listen, I'm gonna that movie. Do yourself a favor and watch Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Hans, that opinion is valid, but I mean, I don't agree with you at all, and I think people who are saying that is in response to us calling the Batman mid. So I understand if you feel that way, but you gotta also understand that Zack Snyder's Justice League and the Batman are completely two different movies. And if you think the Batman is a masterpiece and Zack Snyder's Justice League was mid, then we just have completely different tastes. And you are against the grain, my friend, because the Zack Snyder's Justice League is a global phenomenon. The numbers still talked about today, still watched, still being played now. And the physical copies flew off the shelves. The digital copies are doing numbers. And you can talk about all the box office stuff you want, but it still didn't do as well as Batman vs Superman, if we're being honest. And we factor in the fact that WB sabotaged that movie, and it could have made well over $1 billion easily, and didn't have half of everything that the Batman did. I respect you completely, dude, but that is just unreasonable opinion to me. I don't think it was mid at all.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't disagree more, but like I said, I can also respect people having differing opinions. And that's the thing. You're not going to see me jumping in your mentions saying that the Batman is mid either if you're talking about the movie with your friends or, people that feel the same way you do. So see, that's the difference. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I don't care if people have opinions because everybody's got opinions.
Yeah.
That's not an issue for me. And I'm not the type of person who gets triggered just because somebody says, "Oh, Zack Snyder's Justice League is mid." Okay, I mean, that's your view. That's perfectly fine. But me, I love it. I don't think it's mid. I think it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm not even going to call it a masterpiece. I'm going to call it what Warner Brothers executive called it herself, a global phenomenon.
Global.
So we'll just, we'll just leave that where it is, because that's just,
Just
let's see.
that's
Yeah,
funny. But
Batman.
hey,
I
you're
don't know.
entitled to your opinion and no disrespect
Yeah,
at
no
all.
disrespect.
We
That's
just
what
have
I'm saying.
different tastes.
Hans is a cool dude. Like, I mean, Hans is one of the biggest Lord
He's
of the
the
Rings
yeah,
fans that I know. And I love Lord of the Rings. So
absolutely.
I can't sit here and argue with Hans like this about these comic book movies. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to talk about something that, him and I have in common, it's Lord of the Rings. Like, Lord of the Rings is a fantastic franchise with tons of lore, and just, it's so great, and it's a great thing to talk about. But see, and so I would rather, when I talk to Hans, I would rather talk about that,
Yeah.
than this disagreement about, Zack Snyder's Justice League and the Batman, or BVS and the Batman, or whatever else you want to compare to the Batman. I still think Morbius is a better movie than the Batman. So,
Yeah, but
I'm actually the wrong person to have that conversation
yeah.
with.
I think though you're not in the minor. No one's in the minority if you like Lord of the Rings. I
Oh,
like
no,
you
no,
know. I don't
no.
think. I think you're in the minority though if you don't like Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, yeah,
Which
because
is
even people that hated BVS
yeah,
loved Zack Snyder's Justice League, and that's the thing I always point to for people that don't get, that didn't get where Zack was going with BVS. When they saw Justice League, now they get it.
yeah,
And I think this is the reason why all the movies that DC tried to put out after that didn't do as well, because people were expecting a continuation from Zack Snyder's Justice League and never got that. I mean, like, how do you end a movie with Darkseid, the biggest villain of the DC universe, and then you follow up with James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and you wonder why people aren't interested?
dude. That to
I
me,
mean, it's wow.
the James Gunn Suicide Squad to me as a Snyderverse fan, all right, he's using characters from the Snyderverse who were in the original movie, and if this is a reboot and he's using those characters to show it's a multiverse, whatever, at least have some respect for those characters. Let's not kill Jai Courtney, Captain Boomerang, like a freaking idiot when
No.
he was a complete and utter badass in Suicide Squad, and they had to put him in a bag to get him to where he was, and he comes out with freaking knives, like he's gonna attack people. Like that is not the guy we saw in James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and they wanted to he wanted to put a freaking weasel in the Suicide Squad. Like, what are we doing?
I'll tell you about that Weasel character. There are twisted and demented James Gunn personal reasons for
Yes.
including that type of character in the movie, and this is why I hate James Gunn.
Yeah,
Okay,
dude.
I listen. My rants on James Gunn, I guess, are legendary on YouTube, because I get tons of views when I start talking about James Gunn, because I do not. My thing is, I don't like James Gunn on a personal level, and I
Yeah.
don't like his movies at all. I think he's a horrible director. I don't think he should be making movies. I think he should be doing something else. I don't know, maybe coordinating like a yoga class or something, but he shouldn't be. Him and Taika Waititi
Oh my god.
get together and do and do like a cooking class or something. Bat Dan says here, well, Zod, you got to admit that Patty Jenkins did a good job with 80s nostalgia for Wonder Woman 1984. I completely disagree.
Yeah,
I
dude.
don't think that Patty Jenkins did a good job with 80s nostalgia. I think that movie was horrible. The movie hardly had any 80s music. And if you were alive during the 80s, you would know that the 80s was all about the music.
Yeah.
Everywhere you went, you heard 80s, you heard music in the 80s. The 80s was all about that. There were so many things I was hoping that Patty Jenkins was going to do in this movie that were 80s, okay? Because I was born in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I remember this stuff as a kid. I remember the 80s, you know, the stuff about the 80s. I remember all this stuff, the music and all the, you know, the movies, different things. And there were things that I was expecting. There were boxes I was expecting Patty Jenkins to check. She didn't check any of them.
Oh, dude.
She did jack with the material. That movie could have taken place in any time period, really.
Yeah. There was no reason to even make it in 84 and have it like be kind of dispersed from the Snyder Cut timeline. Like, you go, if you've never seen any of the Snyder stuff and all, you're like, oh, I like Wonder Woman, and you see that first and you're like, whoa, that was crazy. And then you go see Wonder Woman 84 directly after, and you still haven't.
You ever see Last of the Mohicans?
Yes, dude. Yes.
Okay. The reason I asked, okay, Superbro Corey, not Supergirl. I'm sorry, Corey. Superbro Corey says we want a Northman Thor. Now,
That'd be sick.
I have an idea for what I think that would be, and I would love to see. You wanna re-inject the Norse mythology into Thor. You know what you do? You get Michael Mann, who directed Last of the Mohicans, to come in and direct a serious Thor movie. I'm talking serious Northman Thor, mythological, like just God tier, like Thor, like classic comics Thor. It could be done.
That would be
you get away
sick.
from this you get away from this Taika Waititi crap. You get away from the these James Gunn type wannabe filmmakers, and you actually get real filmmakers to come in and do the movie, and you'll have a success. Like, I love this. LOL, what's going on? Northman was better than all the Marvel stuff this year. Amen to that. Northman was awesome, and it's on Netflix if you haven't seen it.
Nice, dude. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Northman was pretty dope. My God, man, come on.
Last of the Mohicans was a very rewound VHS tape in my back in the day in the 90s. Yeah. I watched that all the time, and that would be such a cool concept. The nitty, like, gritty cinema that we I'm a little bit younger, so I didn't grow up in the 80s, but I got all of the 80s and 70s like movies through my parents. Like, they would have all of their favorite movies and I'd watch them. Like, didn't matter what it was. Like, my parents liked the movie and they're like, we want you to see it. Like, if you want to see it and you think you like it, like, that's cool that you like it. And Last of the Mohicans is one of them. I was like, whoa, this is freaking crazy, dude.
Yeah, Last of the Mohicans, I believe, came out in like 91, something like that. Yeah, maybe 92 at the latest. Last of the Mohicans was great, and like I said, I would just love to see a Thor movie done with that type of respect. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about people would be blown away, and I think Chris Hemsworth would probably love to have an opportunity to actually play the Thor character in a respectful and serious manner, instead of farting and joking and and eating and doing all the things that he's done in recent films.
His kids are gonna get older and they're gonna watch that again when they get older and be like, why did you do this? And he's gonna be like, what, you thought that was funny then? And I think that's the only reason why he's going along with it, because he's got kids, and like, it appeals to more kids, but it doesn't appeal to the fandom that's been existing. If they're trying to be commercialized and produce all of the things that they produce with superhero movies, like, this wasn't it, man. It wasn't it at all.
No. No, it wasn't. And I didn't mean to, I didn't mean to scare you away, Hans. I hope you didn't leave. Like I said, I wasn't trying to,
Oh yeah.
nobody was going at you, man. It was just the whole, I was just opinion again,
Right.
personal opinion. And that's what I always try to instill in people. There's nobody trying to attack you for loving what you love. The attacks come from being attacked and basically rebuttaling other people.
Right. Yeah, and all of the things that we've had to deal with over the
Ron
years.
McMillan says the Riddler was basically Doomcock. That's funny.
Spot on, dude.
Oh, it's like spot on.
Yeah.
Seriously, Doomcock finally appeared in a movie.
Except Riddler had way more of a following, man. Jeez.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God, it's so amazing.
Of course he
And
would.
Lord Koj says, I still want Scott Adkins as Batman. I actually thought that Scott Adkins might actually have a chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see it
I
before
dig
Scott
that.
Adkins gets too old, because
I dig
he's,
that.
he's awesome though. I love Scott Adkins movies. You ever see the Ninja movies with Scott Adkins? Ninja and Ninja 2, Shred of a Tear. Oh my God.
I've seen Ninja, and that's kind of, yeah, that's gave me the vibes of that. And it almost seemed like Matt Reeves didn't know how to film an action fight sequence.
No,
like
he
he was
didn't.
known. He did Cloverfield, right?
He was too busy with apes and found footage
Yeah,
to worry
yeah,
about fight choreography.
Yeah, and you can change anything you want in CGI when everything's CGI'd. Like it doesn't matter. You don't have to have any flow of the camera and know where your spacing is and know it's cool and know it's been done before. Like you actually have to do research on stuff for that. The only thing to me, the coolest thing about that movie, I will say something nice about it, was something that they revealed super early, and I kind of wish they didn't. But I would have never known this if they didn't, because I didn't care enough to follow along with everything that went along with the Batman. Is his crest or whatever was made out of the gun that killed his parents. That was the coolest thing to me from Matt Reeves' Batman that he added into Batman lore. Like that was cool that he used that crest.
Didn't really play a role in the movie.
No,
though.
it didn't. It's like
that's the problem.
Right.
Yeah, that was supposed to be something that should have been something that was literally depicted in the film.
Yeah, or at least mentioned once.
Why wasn't it?
Why
That's
didn't
what I'm talking
we
about.
see him making the suit, like anything like that? If you want to be year one Batman, like we saw Bale go through a bunch of different prototypes, with the freaking. Remember seeing the wing thing when he's like, the R&D department for the Wayne Corp. Like, what are you doing? And where's all the cool stuff? Where's all the Bruce Wayne?
Alfred,
accent?
You're not my father.
Yeah.
Alfred, you're not my father. Like they say, but it was okay for Clark Kent to say, you're not my dad. Totally different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different thing. Okay. For one, Clark Kent was adopted by the Kents, right? And raised as their son. Alfred never claimed to be the father to Bruce Wayne, but he was a father figure. But at that point, okay, Bruce Wayne should have been beyond all of that. By that point, if he's already been Batman for going on 3 years, he should have been over that by now. That type of
tenfold
contentiousness with Alfred. He was like a moody, emotional teenager at that point.
Yeah, no, I know why people, these younger guys, relate to him so much. I used to feel the same way in certain points in my life, like so moody and broody and pissed off at the world. But you grow up and you get out of that and you realize that how big of a freaking lights and sirens you have on your head just by the way you act every day. And there's no way that Bruce Wayne would be able to keep incognito with the way that he acted in that movie. And you could he walked so fucking much that they could just tell by the way that he walks, like, yo, I think I've seen this guy walking before, or he just goes into a police station. Like, what are we doing? Batman disappears when you're talking to him. He shows up and he's like, whoa, God dang, will you stop doing that? And then you're talking to him and you, damn it, he's gone again. Like, that's how it is. He doesn't use doors. He disappears. He vanishes. Oh my God, there's so many things they got wrong in that movie, man.
Yeah, I mean the Batman and Matt Reeves, the Batman walks around the police station with impunity. It's the middle of the day and Batman's walking around the police. He might as well have been wearing a police uniform. He just had the cowl over his face.
Just give him a badge, dude, and put his name on it. Because you know who he is.
I would have respected that a little more. I think that would have been better. I mean, he'd already taken so many liberties with everything else. Why not just make him a police officer?
Matt Reeves would have been the director that created the Bat badge, dude.
Yeah, there you go. that works for me.
Well, and then no hate to if you think that was cool or not, but I think a lot of the film got diluted by shots that Matt Reeves had in his head and wanted to see Batman, like, oh, this would be cool if you saw Batman like doing this. And he wanted to put it in his movie, but it had nowhere to fit in the actual story of Batman. But he's like, oh, it's going to look cool, though. Like, okay, well, where does it fit in this story? Like, it makes no sense.
And we've got one of my favorite commenters in the chat right now, speaking sense, Mr. Rel McMillan. What's up, Rel? He says, there's nothing like seeing young YouTubers watch a Mikey and Sil video to pick apart what they say while they shill for other scoopers.
Yeah.
Amen.
And we don't even watch the other scoopers, man. They just give Mikey and Sil a view just out of spite. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean they spend so much time watching, what Sil and Mikey are saying. It's like they're basically hate watching Sil and Mikey.
Yeah, it's sad. I think.
I mean, I don't want, like you said, we don't watch these other scoopers, so we don't know what they're saying. Most of the time, the only reason we know what they've said is because people will come to us, or they'll come to us. They'll come in our mentions, or they'll tag us in something.
Yeah.
Imagine that, a bunch of people that are, they have their different opinions, but they'll tag us and talk about us. But then they got us blocked, so we can't see what they're saying. That's the thing. I think that's so funny, I mentioned that specifically because I'm talking about that scooper KC Walsh. He can't stop mentioning me on Twitter, but he has me blocked. So the only time I see what he's actually saying is when somebody sends me a screenshot of the tweet. And apparently he's in love with me because he keeps mentioning my name and saying, and I can't respond to nothing because the guy's got me blocked. So I find it absolutely hilarious.
You just gotta laugh at it too, because it's like, oh, you're just hating. Okay, cool. Like, keep hating, keep saying my name, keep sending people over here, because they're just making themselves look horrible at the end of the day. Because then people come here and they want to see, like, oh, I want to see Zod talk shit. He talks so much shit. He's this and he's that. I want to see for myself. And then they watch you and they're like, wait, he's not like that at all. He's super genuine and he's super nice and he keeps things neutral and he tries to see other people's opinions that he may not have heard before. And he respects people. And they're like, well, what the fuck? Who is this guy again? Who is this other guy that sent me over here? And then they see who they really are. They're like, oh, you're the D-bag and all this.
The same thing happens with Sil and Mikey. A lot of people will see the same thing there, that Sil and Mikey they're not grifting. They're not trying to screw anybody over. What they're actually trying to do is they're trying to give people, they're trying to actually just tell what they hear.
Right.
I mean, it's
genuine.
It's so crazy to me.
Yeah, and it's hilarious when people the argument or the the talk came out where like evil super chats and we're getting pawned out of our money, and they're
Oh
tricking
yeah.
us by telling us what we want to hear. And it's like, oh, so you're just around for right now. You weren't around for the 8,000 hours we had of bourbon and shit that we didn't want to hear. And they told us anyways, like, hey man, better get your glasses out tonight because we got some crappy news for everybody. And like, well, there goes my day. But at least I get to hear it from people who are genuine and people who aren't going to bullshit me and people who are going to keep it real. And everybody was like, all right, yeah, it sucks, but hey, we got each other at least, you know? And now they're here for the success, and they're here for the optimism of the future. And they're like, oh, and they don't believe it's gonna happen. So they're like, oh, they're lying to you, they're tricking you out of your money. It's like, no, we actually just want to keep supporting these people because they have always been real, and we just want to keep seeing them do them and keep being real and not turn into shills, and they're not going to turn into shills. So here, take my money. We love you guys.
And my thing is, like I keep saying, I'm happy to shill for Sil and Mikey because I
Right.
like them. They're good
Exactly.
people. They're my friends. I like them a lot. They're people that I can actually have a conversation about stuff.
Right.
You know, I don't get it. You know, again, a lot of it is a lot of it is who you're friends with, right?
Mhm.
And it's like that for everybody. It's like what group are you in?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. If you're in this group, you're gonna have your friends are gonna like, you know, the Snyder Verse, and are gonna support the Snyder Verse and the Mikey Verse and every other verse that we're into. What's up, Adega? Good to see you, man. 4K says, Zod, have you seen Avengement? Oh, you're talking about the Scott Adkins movie. Yeah. I love, again, Scott Adkins can do no wrong, in my opinion.
Mhm.
He's been in a lot of great movies, and like Lord Koj pointed out, he would be a great Batman. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan. I'm a big fan of Scott Adkins. Absolutely. Uh,
I just noticed something hilarious, by the way, by the screen. Did you notice that the background picture of you is perfectly lined up with you right now? Your head
yeah,
is on top of your shoulders. It's kind of freaking me out.
it is a little bit freaky, isn't it? How that's set up. I have it set up like that, kind of on purpose, so
All
that
right,
it,
okay. I
you know,
didn't
because
want. I
you
was like,
know,
he must have done. There's no way that the jigsaw puzzle lined up so perfectly.
yeah, people do have commented on that a lot. That's kind of my that's kind of my scenario. Let's see, and we got Snyder Queen, who says that KC is a
Yeah,
knobhead. I
it
agree.
sucks.
And this is my thing. I'm sure KC is probably a nice guy in real
Right,
life, but he comes at me all the time like I'm scum of the earth because I support Sil and Mikey. That's
right.
why he doesn't like me, because I support Sil and Mikey. If
Remember
I
when he was gonna retire, dude? Remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I've got a lot of friends on, the other side who are not fans of Sil and Mikey, who kind of do their own thing. But I've gotten to the point where I'm gonna stay in my lane and hang out in my little bubble. I'm gonna
Mhm.
hang out with Austin and the Snyder Queen and Marcus and Still and Skywalker and Koj and Rhea and all these great, wonderful people who I know who are like-minded, and we
Right.
all talk about these things, and we all enjoy talking about this stuff, and we enjoy speculating, and we find that we have a lot of things in common and things that we like about each other, and we're just finding out more stuff.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And we can just talk to each other and have a good like hang, even if it's like we're not necessarily discussing any topic, and maybe many topics. It's probably going to be many topics, but we can all talk about any topic and get along and not be like disrespectful and unmannerly. Like I've never been so repulsed by some of the things that I've seen and some of the comments that have been made uh in my time being here in this community by others who are hating, and it's obvious to me that they're not paying attention, because the things that they say about us have no like factual basis at all. It's like, oh, okay, you're not even watching the streams, you're not even seeing the chats. So what you have to say is invalid to us.
Right. They make judgments
Yeah.
based on who we associate with in the movies we like, which
Yeah.
makes no sense.
No.
Like I said, I like Hans. I can hang around Hans and talk to Hans about Lord of the Rings and other things, and I have no problem with Hans as a person. He's a good guy. You know, we disagree about the Snyder Verse, but that's fine. A lot of
Yeah.
people disagree with me about the Snyder Verse. I'm not expecting everybody that I'm friends with to love the Snyder Verse, but at the end of the day, I'm not going into people's mentions picking on people either for liking what they like. That's
Right.
the whole point. Like Rel McMillan says, did KC ever acknowledge that he was wrong about Toby staying? No. What he did was he doubled down, and he basically said that, well, Toby's still there because he's a producer. He tried to move the goalposts, yes, essentially, and so no, they don't admit, they don't take L's, they don't admit when they're wrong, but they're still looking for this mythical L that Sil and Mikey are supposed to allegedly take, even though Mikey has been on point about everything he said. Everything that he said was going to come to pass has come to pass. Do you remember when Sil and Mikey said that in order for the Snyderverse to come back, there's a lot of things that would have to change over at WB?
Yeah.
Mikey actually said that there would have to essentially, and I think it's on video. Mikey said at some point, and this was all before we even knew about the merger. This was when Mikey was giving us bourbon, and he basically said, you know, there's going to have to be some big changes over at WB. You know, like new management, different things are going to have to change in order for Zack Snyder to come back, in order for there to be any chance of the Snyderverse returning.
Yeah.
And he laid it all out. And this was before they were even talking about a merger. This was before we knew anything about a merger.
Yeah, it was during the time too that he was kind of doing press. Zack Snyder was doing press for Army of the Dead, and he said that, you know, WB doesn't F with me. They're anti-Snyder. That's where
Right.
that term came from, was from Zack Snyder himself. He said WB's anti-Snyder, and that we're all like, damn, that really sucks, you know? Like, well, we're still gonna keep fighting for it no matter what. Doesn't matter if they are anti-Snyder. We're just gonna wait until they're gone, or we have to do enough movements and convince them that it's the only way forward is through the Snyderverse. And it's not necessarily that we have to convince them either. It's just like, yo, look at the numbers. Stop denying. Stop being so petty and making subpar product because you're petty and you don't want to use what's proven because that wasn't your idea, or you know, you don't like Snyder because he doesn't do everything that you told him to do on a movie set, and he filmed things behind your back, so now you don't like him. But he's so loved by the fan base that you had to use him for BVS, and then you had to use him for Justice League, and then when you got your opportunity to get rid of him, you took it, and you told all of us that, oh, don't worry, it's still going to be Zack's vision. It's still going to be Zack's vision. And then one of the first things we see at the beginning of the movie is a homeless guy with a cardboard sign that says, I tried. That's Zack's vision. That's Zack's vision.
That was that was Whedon telling
Yeah.
us, sending us a message telling us, I tried.
You tried
I only had 5 weeks. I tried. Snyder Queen is commenting here on KC, I believe. I've not seen him in streams, just on Twitter. I can just imagine what his what he's like on stream. Yep, toxic as hell. Yeah, he doesn't, from what I understand, he doesn't do YouTube streams or anything like that. He does those, what do you call those things on Twitter? Those
Spaces.
spaces.
Yeah, talk
Yeah.
about an echo chamber, huh?
Right. Spaces are the ultimate echo chamber. That's why I say you'll never see ZodWriter do a space. If I got something to say, I'm gonna come on YouTube. YouTube is my platform. I'm not, you're not gonna see me doing some space on YouTube like a space cadet. I got better things to do. People that get on spaces are people that can't do YouTube.
Yeah.
And all they want to do is talk trash about other people. So they get on these spaces with 4 of their little friends, and then they get 19 other people watching because those 19 people like drama and like hearing people talk crap.
Yeah.
And that's what it basically boils down to. That's what a space is. And I couldn't agree more with Matthew McConaughey right here. All right. Exactly. That's what it is. That's what you get on spaces. You get a bunch, you get 4 people going, all right. And they just do that. They just do that back and forth with each other for about 25 minutes to an hour. And everybody's listening in. So, and then anytime somebody tries to chime in on one of those spaces with a counterpoint, they get muted.
Yep.
or get their talking privileges taken away by who's ever hosting the Spaces event. So for me, Spaces are trash.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people that are using Spaces right now are trash too. So that's why you have KC on there babbling incoherently, because he doesn't have the ability to compose a logical thought that makes any sense. Everything that he says is just dreck, and then he backpedals and moves the goalposts around to suit whatever narrative he's trying to protect at this current time.
Yeah.
But yet Sil and Mikey are the grifters and are the criminals and are the ones that are causing all the problems. But he can go on his little spaces with his echo chamber and talk about all the people he wants to and make fun of all the people that he wants to make fun of. And say all kinds of negative, mean, and nasty things about people he's never even met and doesn't even know.
And doesn't interact with on a daily basis or anything like that. He just feels a certain way and, gives his opinion on how he feels, but does it super disrespectfully in a lot of ways. And like you said, it's funny how we're the ones who are accused of moving goalposts, but it's completely the other way around. And it's like being a kid again in school, and you would say something to somebody and they just say, no, that's what you are. It's like, good comeback, dude. Good one.
Yeah, there's a lot of projection going on with these people. It's what I like to call convenient projection, because you could talk all you want about how, Toby Emmerich is a producer, so Mikey and Sil need to take the L. Well, no, you actually need to take the L, because you need to understand that producer deal is something that all exiting executives of Toby Emmerich's ilk are given when they lose their job. It's part of their going away severance package. Okay? Because just because he has a production deal doesn't mean anything that he produces is going to get greenlit or actually made at Warner Brothers. It's a little perk. It's like when you get like a retirement package.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of his retirement package. He won't be making any movies at Warner Brothers. I can nearly guarantee you that. If any of his projects get greenlit at his little quote unquote production company, I'll be surprised. Rel McMillan says, I honestly don't think it matters if Sil and Mikey are right. The Snyder Verse could get restored, and the other side will say they can't enjoy the news because of the toxic fandom. Yeah, that's exactly what'll happen. And we got Sosa Fam Bam Bam. What's up, Sosa? How you doing, man? Sosa says, Zod, you're awesome. Keep up the good work. Love you, bro. Love you too, Sosa. You are awesome, man. And Baby Girl is here. I haven't seen Baby Girl in a while. Baby girl says, hey, Zod, just stopping by to say hi. Hello to you too, baby girl. I hope all is going well with you. And this is really a great stream, man. We're really covering a lot of ground here tonight. I'm enjoying this so much, Austin. You just have no idea. I mean, these people we're at the point now where it's just going to be moving goalposts from now until the Snyder Verse is restored, and then we'll get more. They'll move the goalposts again.
Yep. And once the Snyder Verse is restored and the first movie comes out, they're going to compare it to whatever number in the line movie that was for Marvel or something like that, like, oh, well, it didn't do as good as this one. Oh, my dog's crying. That's funny. Sorry. I don't know if you heard that, but yeah, it's ridiculous how much they move the goalposts too. It's like, just say you're wrong. Like Integrity said it. I don't know why it's so terrified of people saying I was wrong, and it's like they can't take accountability.
They can't ever take it. They don't want any accountability.
Yeah.
Sil and Mikey, they want them to be wrong so badly, but because there hasn't really been anything that they've been wrong about, and it's like anytime you approach somebody who's out there calling Sil and Mikey liars and saying, they need to take the L, you say, okay, well, where's your evidence that they were wrong? Take the time, take the clips.
Yeah.
Take the clips. If you have something on Sil and Mikey, start clipping some stuff instead of just saying that they're wrong and they need to take the L. I want to see some clips from these people. And I'm tired of hearing them say, oh, Sil and Mikey were wrong about this. Oh, Sil and Mikey were wrong about Thomas Wayne being in the Flash. How do you know that? Number one, that wasn't something that they confirmed. They didn't confirm that Michael Keaton is playing a version of Thomas Wayne in the Flash. But you people better hope that Thomas Wayne is not playing some variation of Thomas Wayne. Michael Keaton isn't playing some variation of Thomas Wayne in this Flash movie, because there's multiple timelines going to be on display in this Flash movie. And if there just so happens to be a timeline where, oh my God, God forbid, Michael Keaton plays a version of Thomas Wayne, what are y'all going to say then?
Yeah.
Y'all are ready to condemn Mikey and Sil on this Thomas Wayne stuff when it was actually Grace Randolph who scooped that Michael Keaton was going to play Thomas Wayne in this movie.
Yeah. And I think all they said was they just like covered the fact that she had said that. And then I think,
they kind of speculated a little, and Mikey was speculating a little bit on it and didn't really know, and they did make, some stuff about it where they talked quite a bit about it, but talking about it and commenting on it doesn't mean that you're confirming it.
Yeah.
So I don't, but like I said, all these people are giving Sil and Mikey this L for this. So now if Thomas Wayne is in the movie and it's Michael Keaton playing a variant of Thomas Wayne in the movie, then they have to give.
Oh my God.
They have to give Mikey and Sil a W then, because they're the ones that went at Mikey and Sil over Thomas Wayne not being Thomas Wayne in the movie, and the movie isn't even out yet.
Dude, they're gonna say though, well, he wasn't the main Thomas Wayne. It's like, oh, okay, that's how they're gonna move the goalposts then, They're gonna be like, oh, well, he wasn't the main Thomas Wayne in this. He was just a variation in a different multiverse. It's like, okay, that's exactly what will happen. But we know that if that does happen, like, oh, well, even their speculation was right. Like that was just a commentary thing. It wasn't even like a scoop that they had or a leak.
No, because again, it wasn't their scoop. It was Grace Randolph's scoop.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be surprising if hers are wrong. Let's be honest.
Right, because Grace Randolph has been wrong a lot.
Yeah.
But Rel McMillan says that Toby is producer spin is pathetic. Just admit you were wrong, kids. Exactly. Exactly. They don't even understand. These people don't even understand how the business works. They sit there and act like they're all experts, and they're all sitting there because they're hovered around somebody, you know, they're basically hovered around somebody delivering food, and they think he knows everything about how the film industry works, and he's just as dumb as they are when it comes to this.
I know.
I don't, I don't understand it. I mean, if I'm going to look up to somebody, I'm going to pay attention to somebody who actually knows the business. I mean, Mikey Sutton has 30 years in the industry.
Yeah, proven track record. Not just someone trying to do it, like acting like they have all these sources or have any, like, okay, maybe you have some sort of access, but you're just a shill at the end of the day. And it's not the type of info that Mikey gets. He gets leaks that aren't going to go out to the normal shills, and he's going to find out info that is super far in advance in a movie's production. So down the line, it might change.
He was like, he got the information about for Spider-Man about Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland all being together. He knew that. He got that information a couple of years before it was announced.
Yeah. And so, you're not going to get that anywhere else.
No, you're going to get, he's going to hear it. He's going to hear it first from the insiders. This is why we're literally years ahead of where the general public is as far as what's going to happen. This is why you and I can sit here, Austin, and be like, well, we know for a fact that the Snyder Verse is going to get restored. We don't have to be worried about it.
Yeah.
Because we know what we've been hearing and where it's been coming from and why things are taking as long as they're taking, and we know all of these things. So now it's just kind of like everyone else is playing catch up at this moment.
Yeah, and they're freaking out, a lot of them. Oh, it's almost been 100 days. It's almost been 100 days.
Well, that's what they're waiting for. They're like, first 100 days. Yeah, okay, Sil and Mikey, we're waiting for that L. Come on, bring it on. And Sharon Peters is saying, if you're going to use football analogies, at least talk about tight ends, good Austin. And Sharon Peters again is referencing is now referencing tight ends. So that's a good segue. And Rel McMillan says they will say even a broken clock is right twice a day, when it probably in regards to like the Thomas Wayne thing. I don't know, but like I said, man, I just look at this the hate for Sil and Mikey as unrealistic, because they're not coming out confirming every scoop that they talk about. Everything that they comment on, again, scoop commentators, they call themselves scoop commentators for a reason. It's scoop commentary. It's not them confirming anything. It's just Mikey talking about what he's hearing from his sources and commenting on it. That's all it is. And people are just, but they're so, ready to convict, and they want Sil and Mikey to be wrong. It's almost like, are you really fans of the Snyderverse? Do you really want the Snyderverse to be restored because you have somebody who has connections in the industry telling you that it's eventually gonna be restored? He's been telling us this, but you're hearing it and you don't believe it. Why? Because Grace Randolph isn't telling you this? Because your Uber Eats driver isn't telling you this?
Yeah.
Because your dog groomer isn't telling you this, or your hairdresser with the pink hair and the mohawk isn't telling you this? I mean, who do you need to tell you this? And we pay attention to Zack Snyder, and Zack Snyder's been dropping hints all over the place.
If you pay attention to Zack Snyder, then his assistant directors and all the writers, and all of the people throwing out hints here and there. Like, there's too much going on for you not to believe that it's not coming back. And And if you think that it's not coming back, that's cool. That's your opinion. But just be careful what you listen to and be careful what they're saying. And I said in my video, like, I listen intently, and I have listened intently to so many people who are in this game, and you, after a while, can tell if they have any integrity at all, or if they really believe what they're saying. And it shows through easily if you listen enough. And that's why they don't gain any followers or lose any followers. Or they probably just stay around the same point that they got at, or they're losing followers, and other people are gaining followers because they're being genuine, and they're they're not like talking out of their ass saying stuff that's coming from another person's mouth, as far as being told what to say to toe a company line. Yeah, Mikey might be saying stuff that's coming from somebody else's mouth, but Mikey is told a whole big chunk of info. He gives us what he can tell us. He doesn't tell us everything that he hears from a certain thing. He's like, gosh, I can only tell them this. So this is what I'm going to tell them. And they'll figure out the rest because he knows the type of fans that we are. And other people, and he's been right so many times that other people take everything that he says and they're like, oh, well, that's not like, I'll find out that that's not right. Like, but they don't realize that he's just commentating on something, and they're just talking about something. He's not saying that he was told, this, that, whatever. He's just like, oh yeah, I heard that scoop. I can't confirm, but I am hearing some things. And then people take that as like, oh, Mikey Sutton said, blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, no, actually, he didn't say. Somebody asked him about a different scoop that wasn't his. Like, they just take things out of context and they try to.
That's right. That's what it's all about. It's
Yeah.
all about taking things out of context. And 4K, shout out to 4K, says, these are the same people that ripped on the Rippaverse stream 3 days before he hit $1 million. They take an eternal L for that alone. Yes. I want to say that right now. Shout out to Young Rippa, Eric July, the Rippaverse, man. He's got his comic book universe all set up, and this is something that people are, these same people attack that, did live streams talking trash about that too. And that's what it is. It's the same people. I'm seeing a pattern between the same people that attack anybody that they don't like, that they see as being successful. So Sil and Mikey are basically in the same category as Young Rippa, Eric July, when it comes to this kind of stuff. If you take the currency, the information currency, as essentially an equivalent, because Sil has built his platform on the scoop commentary, and people are coming for that because they like Sil and Mikey. The same reason they're going to Young Rippa's comic book, because they want a comic book that doesn't have is not an agenda-ridden identity politics, filled with modern-day tropes and things like that. They want comic books that actually focus on stories and characters for the sake of stories and characters, not the sake of current political agendas. And this is the difference between our groups and the people that you see out there that are celebrating when they get a $20 super chat from John Campion. It's just to me, it's really disgusting, man. I'm at a point where I've stopped seeing things like, I've stopped giving people a pass for being dumb.
Yeah.
It's one thing to disagree about something, and it's but these people, they move the goalposts. They're disrespectful as hell. They'll fly off the cuff and do a live stream condemning somebody before they even know what they're even talking about. And the second you ask them for proof, like when that guy was going at me in that Twitter thread about Mikey over the Thomas Wayne thing, he said, I got more proof, I'll post it. I'm like, bring it on, post it.
Let's
and what
see it.
happened? Crickets. Where was the proof? Where's the evidence? You sit there, you talk all this crap and act like you had all this evidence on Sil and Mikey. I'm still waiting for the evidence. I'm still waiting for the tweet. I'm still waiting for the live stream where you all come out and expose Mikey Sutton. That's what I'm waiting for, but that hasn't happened. Why? Because you don't have anything.
Yeah, it's so funny. I think that night maybe still did a stream and somebody asked him about it. He's like, when did we confirm it?
I asked him about it.
Right.
I sent Sil a super chat. I sent Sil an evil super chat, and I asked about Thomas Wayne that night because this guy was coming at me on Twitter. Oh God, I got all this information. Okay, bring it on. Come on, let's go. Have you seen the Flash movie?
Yeah.
Do you know for a fact that Michael Keaton isn't playing a variant of Thomas Wayne in this movie? Since you're so insistent upon blaming Sil and Mikey for a scoop that they never confirmed, a scoop that wasn't even theirs that they just commented on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Integrity 101 says Snyder fans need to understand we are all conspiracy theorists to the mainstream move-on crowd. Mainstreamers don't want to know that who they've been following are idiots. But yet integrity, there's so much evidence to prove that they are idiots. And integrity continues here. He says, if you ever want to know what it's like to be a conspiracy theorist, just try being a Snyder fan. Wow. That's really profound. I mean, actually, and it's not far off. I gotta agree with you, integrity. I mean, that's exactly what it feels like. It's like, wow.
It's like everyone who believed in UFOs for years and years and years, and everyone said that they were crazy, and then the U.S. government puts out videos of the UFOs, and you're like, oh,
right. Full disclosure, we've had UFOs, we've had UFOs flying around the planet for decades.
Yeah.
But you know what?
The person you were mean to, go tell him you were sorry.
Yeah, tell him you were sorry. Go to the next MUFON convention and tell him you were sorry. Rel McMillan says, Zod, if you're on Twitter trying to downplay any signs of the Snyder Verse returning, it's hard for me to call you a fan. What true fan does that? I agree. And that's what I don't understand. A lot of what Rel is saying, Austin, makes perfect sense. All of these people come at us, and the people that we're talking about right now are people that say that they also want the Snyderverse to continue.
Yeah. And they're kind of like snarky about it too. Like, I love Mikey's snarkiness because they've been snarky about like their, oh, well, I don't think the Air Cut's going to come out this year. So what do you got to say about that? It's like, pretty sure it's going to come out this year. And even if it doesn't, guess what? Still going to be rocking with Mikey and Sil because they're not little D-bags like a lot of other people. And they're not going to be like, when they're right, they're going to have a little victory lap, but they're not going to they're not going to go in your mentions and be like, hey, guess what? I was right. They're not going to ever do that.
Right. They might talk about it on their show, but they're not going to come at you.
Right.
Unless you come at Sil. And then you get mad when Sil claps back at you on Twitter because you dropped in his mentions when he didn't do anything to provoke you.
And he cast a light on that.
Yeah. Integrity 101 says the part that frustrates me is restoration of the Snyderverse should be obvious. It shouldn't require a special scoop. Just think it through. Yeah, I've been saying that too. Just follow Zack Snyder himself on Vero. Follow Clay Staub on Twitter, and you'll know everything you need to know. You don't even need to follow any scoopers. We're shilling for Sil and Mikey because we love Sil and Mikey. not because their scoops are right or wrong, or I mean, I don't think people really understand. It's like when I say I'm shilling for Sil, it's not because he's got to be 100% right with every scoop that they come out. I don't give a damn about that. I'm supporting Sil and Mikey because they're men with integrity. They're doing a good job with the information that they're providing, and they're good people. And I consider Sil to be a really good friend. So I will always support him. There's no, I mean, so you can't come to me and say, well, Sil is grifting people. Sil is this, Sil is that. Listen, Sil is doing his thing, and I support it. So you might as well stop talking to me about, shilling for Sil, because I will wear a shirt that says I shill for Sil.
Yeah.
Period. I don't care. I am that unapologetic about it at this point. So there's no need to even bring it to me, to bring it to my attention and say, oh, Zod, you're shilling for Sil. You're damn right. I'm shilling for Sil. Period.
Yeah. Are you mad that I picked a good person to shill
Sil,
for?
and Sil is going to do the same thing for me. Sil
Right.
would do the same thing for me, the same thing for all of us. Okay, Sil's a great person. So I don't need to sit here and try to defend why. I'm not trying to defend why I do what I do. I'm not trying to defend my opinions against other people. They are what they are. If you like it, fine. If you don't, that's fine too.
Mm-hmm. The main difference between a lot of us is that they see the Snyder Verse as a opportunity to monetize their relationships because it's such a big fandom with so much money, but they don't realize that that money is always going to a good cause, a genuine reason, and you can't just monetize us and try to make money off of us because you get found out quick. I mean, look at all of the other YouTubers who fell off because you get found out. We get the true colors always show through, and people don't like to support that continuously. But the reason I've been rocking with Sil for years now, over a year for sure, and it's like there's a reason why he's still going, still growing.
Growing is the key here.
Yes.
All right. You don't have this kind of growth in these kinds of people, tons of people becoming members of your channel because you have a reputation of being a liar.
Yeah.
And of basically selling snake oil to your fan base. That's not how you get fans.
No.
You get followers and fans because you're real, because people want to hear what you have to say, because you're not screwing anybody over. You're telling it like it is. And these people don't know that Mikey and Sil give us information all the time that we don't want to hear. It's not like they sit there and they make everything pretty for everybody and sugarcoat everything. That's not what Sil and Mikey do. But this is how you know that they don't watch Sil and Mikey. They cherry pick things that they think that they can, laser in on because they've got nothing better to do. I couldn't imagine being this dissatisfied with my personal life where I have to actually seek out people to hate watch. That to me is like the worst thing you could possibly do. I don't have that kind of time. I'm sure you don't either, Austin. Who the hell wants to spend all your free time hate watching people that you don't support and you don't believe in? If I didn't like Sil and Mikey, you wouldn't see me supporting Sil and Mikey. I'd have other things to do.
Yeah, it's a sad life when you know that people are doing that too. You're like, oh, you literally have nothing else better to do. This is what they must enjoy it. They got to enjoy it, or else they wouldn't do it all the time. It's sad to see, but I couldn't agree more with you.
Frustrating.
I know. That's why
it's how you could tell they're all young, impressionable kids.
Yes.
That are all following behind people that are has-beens who aren't doing anything now, and they need followers. And all these kids are looking up to them because they were on the internet when the internet was something new. Back when America Online was a thing. I mean, I don't understand like the notoriety that certain people get when they're scumbags. When you're a scumbag, people shouldn't be looking up to you and be thinking that you're giving somebody good information and that your intentions are good. If you're a scumbag, you're gonna stay a scumbag, because
Right.
that's how you made your name, and people following you, trying to emulate you. You're all you're doing is creating more lemming scumbags, and that
Yep.
doesn't help anybody. And
No.
Rel McMillan says, I hope his comic, meaning Young Ripa, aka Eric July's comic, succeeds, because I'm tired of watching people whine and complain about geeks and gamers 24/7. I'm not even a fan, but the complaining of them is getting old. I couldn't agree more, Rel. I got to tell you something, and I'm going to say this right now. I may not always agree with geeks and gamers, but lately I've come to respect them on a certain level, because they get so much hate for anything that they put out. It's as though they can't like it, even when they come out and try to put out a positive stream or a positive post about something. People are constantly going at them and crapping on them. I couldn't agree more. In fact, it's gotten me to the point where there's a lot of geeks and gamers. I'm subscribed to them on YouTube. I do watch a lot of their content now. I even follow a few of them on Twitter. Why? Because they're constantly getting crapped on, and to me, it's unjustified. If you want to call them out for something that you take issue with, that's one thing. But again, it's to the point where they can't even put out anything positive, talk about something that they like, because they're getting crap. Like I think Jeremy, he put out a video where he did a review about how much he liked Top Gun Maverick. I thought Top Gun Maverick was a great movie.
Yeah, who didn't like that?
And he was getting all kinds of hate for it.
Oh my God.
So, I've come to the realization that this is what it is. When you're getting hated on this much, it's because you're doing something right. And it says more about society as a whole, and everybody living in their little glass houses, throwing stones at everybody else. This is why things are the way that they are.
Yeah, they can't take the constant criticism for something like that too. It's like, why? Why do you just the hate and the hate, man? Hate and the hate. It's the disease out here. They love to hate. They love to be toxic or negative, and like you said, it's next level projection in a real way. And so many people are so insecure with themselves, they have to attack others. And they don't know that it's like, yo, time to look inward, my friend. Time to look inward. That's on you.
Snyder Queen, would you take care of that for me? Because I'm tired of skipping over those
Yeah,
messages.
I had to go in myself. I actually switched over and did it, dude.
Because at this point, it's just getting to be annoying. I mean, I don't mind a difference of opinion, but everything that you're saying is just for no reason. I don't understand. I mean, you know who you're in here with. So what are you trying to say? I mean, I don't get it. A lot of it doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah.
And like Snyder Queen says, it's Zach, not Zach, you moron. All
Dude,
right, so we'll move on from that.
I had a funny thing about the Zach with the H. In The Boys, there's a sound producer named Zack Snyder, but his name is spelled with an H. And
Yeah.
so I was watching the credits of The Boys finale, and I see Zack Snyder. I'm like, whoa, go back. And I had to go back. I'm like, oh, it's not actually Zack Snyder. And that poor sound guy who's got the same name as Zack Snyder. Oh man.
like the scene in Office Space when Mike Bolton goes into the office and the guys are like, it must be twice as hard as you having the same name as him. Oh my God, I love that movie so much. That movie is a masterpiece.
Yeah,
You want to talk about another movie that we like, that's not a Zack Snyder movie? Office Space. Oh my God, it's hilarious.
Classic, dude. Classic. That's a perfect that situation is what that guy must live every day, because he's in the entertainment business
Like, could you
doing a
imagine
superhero thing
somebody's
even.
like, oh, I love Zack Snyder. I celebrate his entire catalog.
Yeah.
In fact, you could say that I shill for Zack Snyder. I
Yeah.
am a Zack Snyder fanboy. Well, again, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean,
No.
hey, you can love what you love, and I love it. I can't complain at all.
Yeah.
In fact, I got a buddy who's got a birthday coming up on the 21st of July, and yesterday was Amazon Prime Day.
Mm,
These last couple days, and they had the Zack Snyder's Justice League trilogy Blu-ray set on sale
nice.
for that. So that was what I got my friend for his birthday. And
Perfect.
I was excited just to once again spend more money on Zack Snyder's movies. So you see, that to me, that's a win-win. Like, whoa, it's at a discount, and my buddy's got a birthday coming up. Guess what you're getting? Oh my God, I love it. I love it so much.
And the numbers keep going up, dude. The numbers keep going
Oh
up.
my God, and I love it. I really want to get that point across. Think about it, Zack Snyder fans. I'll try to shut the F up about it now. No, Integrity, you're right on point, man. And like I said, I've always respected your takes. You definitely speak to all of us when you say the things that you do, and you should keep doing what you're doing. It's definitely a good thing. And you took care of. Yeah, there you go. Thank you again, Austin. That much appreciated, because
Always
yeah,
modding, dude. Always
it,
modding.
yeah,
That's
I mean, again, you're an incredible guy to hang out with. You're a good friend, and you're also a hell of a mod. So I appreciate that. And
Thank
this
you,
is what
bro.
I'm talking about. These people, they come out of the woodwork. It's amazing. Let's see. And Sharon Peters says, "Speak for yourself. I only follow content creators who are hot and preferably black." Awesome, Sharon.
She's not wrong, dude.
Sharon is awesome. Sharon is always on point. I love Sharon Peters. I really do. She's amazing. And Sweet Like Candy says, Zack Snyder is a crap director. You guys are idiots. And Sweet Like Candy says, I'd you watch gamers streams. You're definitely autistic. What?
Yeah, dude. This is
You're
just
calling
somebody.
me autistic, but yet you can't even compose a proper sentence. What does that say? I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, you're calling me names right now. What? And you didn't listen to what? Obviously, you didn't listen to what I said when I talked about geeks and gamers. So you're totally taking what I said about geeks and gamers out of context,
Mhm.
as usual.
That's just
I
somebody
never said I
trolling,
was a
dude.
fan of geeks and gamers. I said that I watch their videos and I follow some of them now because they're always shrouded in controversy. Always.
Yeah, it's undeniable, but that person and the person before just seemed like a troll, dude. They have like nude pictures in their thing too, trying to get people, with a strike on from their profile picture, I imagine, talking shit in streams just to create a negative like connotation on us again.
I want to do one of these days. I want to do a watch party live stream for
Oh,
Office
Office
Space.
Space, dude. I would be down to do
do
that.
that. That'd be fun. Sammy, would you be down for that too? I think we should do an Office Space
I
watch
would be
stream.
down
That
for
would be
that.
so much fun. Oh my God, guys.
It'd be fun to like kind of like every now and again just take us out of this whole comic book realm. Like, hey, remember this old movie that we forgot about? Let's watch this together. We all enjoy this movie. Let's watch another movie that, if you don't know about, you value our opinions, you respect our opinions. We're telling you this is good. So come watch it with us. I think a lot of people would, dude.
Oh yeah, I think that would be fun. We would do it. We would just you'd have to have the movie and we'd queue it up and we would just watch it while we had a discussion about it.
Right.
And it
Have like
would
a
be a lot of fun.
timer or something like that that goes along with it.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that. I'm gonna set that up. One of these nights, I'm gonna set that up, and I'll I'll send out links to all you guys, and you can join, and we'll queue it up. If you don't have the movie, we can assist you on where you can go to get, get it, queue it, so you can
We'll
queue it
get
up
it
and
to
watch
you.
it. We'll get it to you so you can queue it up and watch it, and we'll all just hang out and watch Office Space. That'll be fun. That's happening. Office Space watch party is happening here, guys. And me and Austin are gonna lead that one off. It's gonna be me and
Heck
Austin,
yeah.
and then anybody else who wants to join. We'll definitely do that.
And you can't get to it in a Twitter space. You have to come to the
Yeah,
YouTube
it's
space.
not going to be a Twitter space thing. I'm not doing the KC without the F, the KFC without the F. I'm not doing the Twitter space thing. Snyder Queen says, I haven't bought the trilogy yet. I'm going to tell you the truth, Snyder Queen, I haven't bought the trilogy box set for myself yet either. I bought it for him because my buddy, he's a casual, fan. And so I think this is something that he'll enjoy. But I've got all the movies individually. I got like because I bought like the Snyder cut like 3 or 4 different times.
Yeah.
I've literally got it on Blu-ray so many times. I've even got like the Steel book and all that. And then I've got a Man of Steel book. I've got the 4K BVS. I've got the digital copies. I mean, I've got I pre-ordered the digital copy that's coming out in a couple of days. I mean, I got it in so many ways. I didn't feel like I needed the box set, but when I know somebody who is a casual and may not have all those movies in the collection, I'm like, that box set is perfect for casuals and normies.
Heck yeah, dude.
As a way to just like, if you can get it cheap enough, it's at a decent price. I think it was like $40 on Amazon yesterday for Prime Day.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah,
So
it's like
I probably should have tweeted about it because it was a good deal, because it's normally like $90,
yeah,
or around $100 for that pretty box set that comes with the collector's cards and stuff. So
that's a good deal, dude.
yeah, to
That's
get
a
it for $40,
too.
it's like, I was like, I might, he's got a birthday coming up. I'm like, I might as well just get it, because it's you're not going to get it that cheap. Rel McMillan says, integrity, keep going. You're speaking the truth. I agree. When you are always being attacked, that generally means you are over the target. Yes. Mm-hmm. And Snyder Queen says, I'm down for sure. Yeah, we're definitely doing. Austin, we're doing this, man. We're gonna do Office Space. We're gonna have Snyder Queen with us. We're gonna do Office Space. It's gonna be awesome.
Have a great time, dude, and just laugh.
It's gonna be a part. Yes, Super Bro Corey is with us. We're doing it. I mean, it's happening, man. We're gonna do it relatively soon. I'm thinking probably within the next week or two. We'll probably do it.
I'm down with that.
I mean, I'm totally down to do it. I want to do it. I love Office Space. It's one of my favorite films. One of my favorite comedies. I mean, you want to talk about comedy. You want to talk about something that's funny.
Oh, that's a good one. I think I don't know if my lady has seen that. She might have to join stream and watch it with us. If we do it, we should do it like a Friday night.
Yeah, whatever. Austin, man, whatever you want to do, man.
Oh, dude.
Just let me do. No, man, we could do it on a Friday night. Sure.
I would love that. Would be perfect. I think we get more people that way too.
I'm actually, so I'm thinking within the next couple of weeks we'll do it. I think it'll be fun. We'll get it together. I'll send out links. I think we can have a full panel. We can watch it, and then all y'all anybody that wants to join us can jump in the chat.
Heck yeah.
And again, I'll send out the link for anybody that actually wants to be on panel for it. We can do that, but it'll definitely be me and Austin for sure. Integrity 101 says, thanks, man. I always like seeing you in the chat, and I appreciate you keeping it real. Yeah, Rel definitely keeps it real.
We are.
Let's see. And Sharon Peters wants to know, you do an Office party watch stream, can we all be nude? Yeah, you know what, Sharon, here's the thing, here's my deal on that. If you want to, if you get on camera and you join us, we'll do the stream privately, and we can all be new. That's perfectly fine. I have no issues with that. We just
You
can't do
first.
it live on YouTube and all be
Yeah,
new,
yeah,
because then the stream will get taken down. But if we want to make it like a private stream, like kind of like how certain people do member streams, I can make it unlisted and we can do it like that. I
I
mean,
put a different meaning to member stream, dude.
yeah,
For
definitely. Members, it'll be all of us, and it'll be Sharon Peters, and it'll be Sammy. We'll all be up in here. Oh, it'll be so much fun.
That'll be legendary, though. Oh man, all the betas that would love to be in that stream, huh?
Snyder Queen, I hate Discord. I'm gonna be honest with you. I cannot stand Discord. Discord bothers me so much that this is why you never see me on any Discords, because I cannot stand that platform. I hate going into Discords and people say, "Oh, join my Discord." So you go in the Discord and you got to say certain things to be able to get access to certain things, or
Oh yeah.
certain menus, or certain areas, or it's like a role-playing game. And I just don't have any interest in that. I get irritated, and I get triggered by Discord. I really do. I got into an argument with a friend of mine over Discord the other day. She was like, "Well, why don't you go on Discord?" And I'm like, and then I explained why I don't like Discord. And then she was like, "Well, I just go on Discord to learn my Spanish." And I'm like,
What?
"Well, good for you, but
What?
I don't go on Discord for anything. I hate
To
Discord."
learn Spanish. Of all
Yeah,
things.
she's learning Spanish through Discord, I guess.
Amazing.
Rel McMillan says, "Thank you, integrity. The feeling is mutual." And Snyder Queen says, "Or we could do it on YouTube too, whatever you want." Yeah, we'll probably just do it on YouTube. And Snyder Queen says, "Same Zod, but I want it. I pre-ordered the digital. I ain't even American." You pre-ordered it. Did you use a VPN and did it through? Oh, that's awesome. Like I love that even the people all around the world are pre-ordering the American digital so that it gets more sales. That's awesome. Like I'm so excited.
What
Like, this
other fandom, dude, does this type of stuff, you know? I don't think any does.
and Snyder Queen talking about Discord says, "Can't say I've had those issues." Okay, well, Sammy, you're awesome. I don't know, but for me, Discord, then I just don't agree. I've had nothing but issues on Discord, and then don't even get me started about how when you haven't gone on Discord in a long time, and then you try to go into Discord, you got to go through all these hoops just to be able to log into your Discord account again.
Oh,
You gotta go.
man.
You gotta do puzzles. You gotta match. You gotta match fire hydrants. You gotta do all kinds of stuff. And then even after you do that, it still doesn't let you log in, because you have to check your email and verify your email. Even after you jump through all the hoops and you do all the puzzles and you gave your social security number and all your personal information, you still have to go into your email and verify through your email before you're able to get back on Discord. I hate it so much. That's why when people say, "Oh, you should get on Discord, Zod," I'm just like, no, it's not happening. Sorry. I feel like an old man when it comes to that type of stuff. I'm just not into it at all. It's just not my thing. Oh, well, I was using it for gaming too, Sammy. I actually had there were a couple of things I was doing for retro gaming, and I had to go on a couple Discord servers to find certain types of files and different things that I needed, and it was a nightmare. I have to say, I just
It's hard,
oh my
man.
God. Oh my God, it's as bad as it actually. I think Telegram is easier, because I'm in a couple of Telegram groups, and when they post files and things you need, they'll post it, and you just click on the links, and it's all right there, and you don't have to go through all these weird hoops just to be able to get on the Telegram.
Yeah, I
But
don't.
Discord is crazy.
Discord, to me, I figured it out a long time ago, thankfully. And if you have the app on your phone, you can like scan a QR code when it comes up on your computer, so it's not that intensive. But
Oh,
before they
okay.
did that, it was definitely like, and if you don't have it on your phone, then you enter the maze and you enter the puzzle to get back into your Discord. And it's like, if you go into an already established Discord as well, like you said, it's so overwhelming, dude. You're like, oh my God, they have a whole society here that
Like a
I'm,
role-playing game.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I can't even get into
And
this right now.
it's not even turn-based. I mean,
No.
I'd rather play Secret of Mana. I mean, at least I would know what I was doing. But Sharon Peters says Discord is only good for viewing BBC. Okay, I'll take your word for it, Sharon. I love, oh my God, Sharon Peters. Snyder Queen says iTunes. I got gift cards and added it to the account and paid that way. That's awesome, though, Snyder Queen. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, all of these efforts that we as fans go through to make, to show our support for the Snyder Verse is just very commendable. And again, like Austin was saying, there's no other fan base that does this. It's essentially just us, like this whole fan base doing what we do and doing it well on a level that no other fandom has ever come close to.
Not even,
And I can say that completely, completely straight faced because it's true. I mean, what other fandom has gotten a movie released that the studio had no intention of releasing, that was dead set against it, said it didn't exist, and now we all have it in multiple ways in our movie collections? It's incredible.
A lot of people have tried, dude, but they never succeeded.
Never.
Never.
In fact, the only time that a group was ever successful at doing something like this was, ironically, with the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2. Fans were campaigning for it before, but this was before the internet got really big. And then in 2006, it finally got released, the Donner cut. They had to go in and get all the missing pieces together and get all of Richard Donner's, film negatives together and piece together a cut. But that was the closest that they ever got to anything like this. And it was nowhere near on the level of demand that we're at here when it comes to Snyder.
Probably way more work, too, than actually had to be done for Snyder to release his Snyder cut, and way less recognition at the end of the day, too.
And Rel McMillan says, Sharon never fails when it comes to making me laugh. I agree. Sharon is absolutely hilarious. That's why subscribing to Sharon Peters on Twitter is so important, because she is hilarious. And you will see, and there'll be a lot of tweets that she'll put out that some people will be offended by. And if they're offended, good, because you shouldn't be taking it all that seriously anyway. But I absolutely love her Twitter page. She's had some of the funniest interactions with people on Twitter. It's amazing to me.
She's ruthless.
Oh my God. The tweet she put out about having her vajayjay waxed, and she tagged another woman who actually wrote back, something about holding her hand while she got her vajayjay waxed. It was hilarious. It was the funniest exchange, and it can only happen on Twitter, and it can only happen with Sharon Peters. It was awesome. It was just awesome. I was like, my God, I am a fan. I would watch the Sharon Peters movie for real. I would. Oh my God,
it would be graphic, dude. But I would watch it too.
It'd be hilarious. Snyder Queen laugh saying, yeah, Zod, Discord ain't for you. Yeah, no, it's not.
That's fair.
It's not my thing. And I agree. I understand. I accept my shortcomings as a man, and I consider Discord to be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is what it is. I just
accept it.
Some people, some people are good at fighting for movies, and some people hate Discord. I don't know. Integrity 101 says you got to do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around. Yeah, pretty much. Snyder Queen says, I feel exactly the opposite. Your complaints of Discord are how I feel about Telegram. That's awesome. I mean, it's not awesome that you're having those problems on Telegram, but then again, I've never had those problems on Telegram. Telegram's always been real smooth to me. Of course, I'm always welcome with open arms in the groups that I'm in on Telegram. So there's really never any barriers for me when I go on Telegram.
Yeah.
But when I go on these Discord groups, these people, they got all these barriers set up, and you got to enter certain things. It's like, I don't know. I don't have time to do all that. I don't have time to figure out your code. My favorite was, I went into this one Discord and it said, you must be a member of this Discord for 9 minutes in order to access this content or this area or something, right? And a 9-minute timer actually popped up on the screen. I kid you not. I closed it out immediately. I'm like, I'm out of here.
If I'm not going to wait 9 minutes.
9 minutes to be able, I'm not going to sit here for 9 minutes. I got better things to do. I got Snyder movies to watch. Give me a break. Snyder Queen says, we got to show up, man. I got people tweeting on my stuff like, oh, that's cool. I already have it though. And I'm like, want me to count my copies? Put your $15 up. Yeah, exactly. It's not a big deal. $15. And what you're doing now by buying this digital copy is continuing to show Warner Brothers Discovery the demand for the Snyder Verse. That's what we're really doing by buying these digital copies. None of us in the fandom actually need a digital copy of Zack Snyder Justice League, unless you count Justice is Gray, which never got a physical release. But technically, you really don't need a digital copy. But it's the idea that, again, you're showing demand, and it's not that much money. You're spending $15. You're not spending $50 or $100 or it's nothing overbearing. It's $15.
Yeah,
it's really not a big deal. And again, it sends the message. We're basically, it's like you're spending $15 to send a message. That's basically it.
Just get to add on to the message. Just add on to it. Keep showing them like, we didn't win yet necessarily. This just shows that, like, keep deciding. And then it's within their 100-day plan. So now the new people can see, oh yeah, no, we should still keep doing this. It's still a viable road to go down.
And talking again about the Richard Donner cut people, those guys sent letters in. We're tweeting. They had it so much. Well, we actually in the early days of the Release the Snyder Cut campaign, we sent a lot of letters. We wrote letters to Warner Brothers executives. We wrote letters to Walter Hamada. We wrote letters to Ant Sarnoff. There were huge handwritten letter writing campaigns that we did for the Snyder Cut. So that was done as well. So we actually were looking at, in the early days, and what a lot of people don't realize is that in the early days of the Release the Snyder Cut movement, we were actually looking at the groups that did the group that did the Donner Cut campaigns as a blueprint for how we were going to start the campaign for Release the Snyder Cut. So when they were like, well, we sent letters to Warner Brothers, it was like, okay, yeah, we could send letters to Warner Brothers. That's one way we can get this started. Yeah. And then we got the ideas to start calling Warner Brothers on the phone. There were a ton of campaigns being done like that, where physical mail and all that stuff was actually involved. So yeah. And Integrity 101 says, right, I love the Donner Cut. Yeah, the Donner Cut is good. Sharon Peters says that's not true. Me and my group of friends campaigned, and we got the Disney movie Black Cock Down made. Okay. Okay, Sharon. All right. All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, I get it.
All
Uh,
right.
the Sharon Peters movie would be a rated X Hub premium exclusive. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to at least make a cameo in a Sharon Peters movie. In fact, if we were going to do when we do, Sharon put out a funny tweet about me saying I was doing a new series on Pornhub called Live from the Red Casting Couch. And I actually thought about it, like that would be a great live interview to do, Sharon Peters. We could do when I interview you, we can actually do it. We could actually be naked, and we could do it, and I'll upload it to Pornhub, and we can have it on, and it'll just be an interview like this, where it's just like this, but we'll be naked. So that would be cool. That would actually be pretty
I
fun.
would watch that.
It would be funny. I mean, because I'm gonna be sitting here like I am now, so you're not gonna see much.
Yeah,
but
right.
still, I mean, it would be fun, and I would do it. I would do it like that out of respect for Sharon Peters, because I think that would be funny, and I think that video would get a lot of views.
Oh my God, yeah.
And of course, we would have a YouTube suitable version as well. And Snyder Queen said, and called and emailed them. I saw the campaigns going. Yeah, the campaigns were amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, we did a lot of that. And then we got a lot of people attacking all the campaigns that we did. So you always had some schmuck from Screen Rant or some other rag on the internet downplaying every single campaign we did. So for me, the one that stands out in my head was when we were calling Warner Brothers. We had somebody over at Screen Rant tweeting, the Snyder Cut movement is about to convince Warner Brothers that all of 40 people want the Snyder Cut, or something along those lines. And there was, and they would do this for every single campaign we would do, whether we were sending letters, flying planes over Warner Brothers, whatever we did was being ridiculed or made fun of or attacked in some way or downplayed. It was really a hell of a time, and we still got the movie. So yeah,
right.
Yeah. So who are the idiots now?
Now other fandoms
Mr.
are
Colbert,
doing that.
who are the idiots now? Who's the 40 people, Steven? Huh? Who's the 40 people? I want to know. Let's see. Sharon Peters says the Donner Cut. How do you know that Richard Donner is indeed circumcised? I don't know that for a fact. In Integrity 101, Donner Cut paved the way. Yeah, well, it obviously played some role. Donner Cut was sick. It definitely was good. It's free real estate. Integrity 101 says, off topic. Anyone see Billboard reporting a major worldwide headlining Pantera tour in 2023 with surviving members? It's been 2 years. I'm like a kid on Christmas. Well, I hope you enjoy yourself, man.
Yeah, awesome.
Sounds like it'll be fun. Integrity 101 says, if you like hard rock or metal, check that tour next year. And Matthew McConaughey gives us an all right. And I gotta agree. All right. We've been at this for 3 hours, and I feel like you and I have only been talking for 20 minutes.
I know, dude.
This is how much fun I have talking with you. So you and me are definitely gonna do this again. We're gonna be streaming a lot together. I think people will enjoy that. They seem to enjoy this. So you and I will be doing more together in the future. And I want to thank everybody for watching this. And Austin, to wrap things up, can you tell us what you got going on? What you got coming up?
I have a brand new YouTube channel. If you look on there, you'll see videos from 5 years ago. So it's not brand new, I guess, but it's definitely going to be more active. I'm going to try and forge my way in the Snyder Verse community as a good person
No, you're
And
in. You're already in. Don't worry, man. We're gonna. Yeah.
I'm
No
just
problem.
down. I'm looking forward to collaborating with everybody, like with you, obviously,
Oh yeah, we're gonna
and
collaborate a lot, bro.
cross streams as
No
the Savage
problem.
Bat. I like to say, I love that. But yeah, just I have my first YouTube video is out now. If you haven't seen that, go check it
Yes,
out,
check it out, definitely.
and
If
subscribe
you
to
want to go
everybody.
ahead and if you want to go ahead, Austin, and post your YouTube link in the chat for everybody so that they
Absolutely
can
will.
subscribe to you, that would be great. Sharon Peters says in the on the chat here, have a good night, girlfriends, hugs and butt plugs. And she also says, Zod and Austin, check Twitter. Okay, let's see.
Hopefully, it's something good.
See what Sharon put. Thor, Love, and Thunder. Spoiler alert for any of my followers who haven't seen the new Thor movie. I actually had a cameo in the film. It's the scene where a hot Asian woman takes five black hammers to the face. By hammers, I mean, yeah. And it's Thor, but okay. Okay, I'll go ahead and like the tweet. Thank you, Sharon. That was pretty funny. And that actually, if that scene was actually in the movie, that scene would probably be more interesting than the actual movie.
Oh my god, yeah.
And
Talk about doing a split, you know what I'm saying?
Sammy Snyder Queen says, "Good night, everyone. Good night, Sammy.
Good night.
Thank you so much for coming. This was such a great show. It's 8 a.m. here. Guess I have to work now. Oh wow. Well, thank you for staying up.
I gotta go
Snyder
to
Queen,
sleep.
and watching this. Austin's got to go to sleep. This is the link to Austin's YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share his new video. If you're not subscribed to me, please do so. I would appreciate it. And you guys can definitely expect to see us do more stuff together in the future. And Snyder Queen says, that's a horrible sing-along blog reference. Okay, well, you know what? On that note, good night, everybody.